Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the Pixel Related Podcast. My name is Kyle. As always, I am your host. Joining me this week, as usual, we have Adam.
Do you know what golfer's elbow is? Because I found out I've got that.
I don't. What is golfer's elbow?
Okay, so you know what tennis elbow is, right? Like it's
Sure,
kind of perpetual pain in the outer part of your elbow. Golfer's elbow is like that, except it's on the inside of your elbow.
Okay.
So that's really fucking fun.
Does it inhibit your ability to put your fingers on the WASD or hold a controller?
So the thing is, it's in my right arm, so like I can still kind of do some battlegrounds. Like I bought this lap desk, and then like the weekend that I get it, this shit starts happening. So like I guess I'm never gonna be able to play battlegrounds well. That's why I can't get the chicken dinner.
Yeah, that's the reason.
That's it. That's why.
Okay, this is very not E3 related. Adam, I'm very disappointed in you.
You know what? Looking at some of these press conferences, I don't know that many of them were E3 related. If you know what I'm saying.
And then, and of course, with us is also Gus.
Hello, everybody.
Follow that.
I can never follow that. I should really be.
That's why it's fun to introduce you second, because we get this long diatribe from Adam about something, and I look forward to it every time we record of what exactly is going to come.
Jesus.
But so hey, it's E3 week, you guys. All of the press conferences, more press conferences than ever before. Technically, because Devolver Digital did something that not really, but
they did. I mean, they vary in the most technical sense of the word. Had a press conference and like won E3. Like I think they won E3. Pretty sure.
I don't think getting a couple people up on a stage and then intercutting that with canned footage of a crowd counts as a press conference.
I mean, look. Here's the thing. It would be more staged than EA. It would be only a little bit more staged than EA's press conference.
Yeah. Yeah, that was if you didn't watch it's only like 15 minutes long. It is something.
It is incredible.
So we just, right off the bat, I think we need to say, everyone talked about how last year was Weed 3, all the stuff around EA and playing Battlefield and Snoop Dogg and all that stuff. If last year was Weed 3, this year is LSD 3, because people are crazy this year on the stuff that's being shown off. So we're gonna talk about the press conferences, talk about a lot of the games that are shown off at these press conferences. It was actually kind of a weird year because I feel like there was less live gameplay demos or like developer walkthroughs than there have been in years past in those big press conferences. Like EA announced like a giant new EIP made by BioWare in their press conference, and basically showed like a 30-second trailer and was like, "Come back tomorrow for Microsoft. We're gonna." It's like, what? Like, why are you guys not dropping the like? Okay, that's really weird.
Activision gives Sony money. We're gonna give Microsoft money. That's what that was.
Yeah, I mean the whole EA Access thing. Obviously, EA and Microsoft are really happy together.
Yep.
Then you had stuff like Ubisoft didn't show off any big Assassin's Creed gameplay during their promo. You had to stay after their quote-unquote press conference for a 20-minute walkthrough.
Well, they show that stuff though at Microsoft also. Like I think that was like I think the stuff that they had to show at Ubisoft proper I thought was actually really good, and I think it was the best one this year, which is fucking insane. I think that Ubisoft did a really good job of selling me on their bullshit.
I mean, considering what you'd probably say Bethesda has probably the best showing over the last 2 years.
I mean, we can talk about that when we get to it. But I had the same problem that I had with Sony's, which was I can just watch those trailers anytime. So what's the point of having a press conference? But
right, and that kind of goes to my point. Is I feel like they showed just a lot of trailers, and a lot of times it was just trailer after trailer after trailer, not even really like little introductions or anything like that. It was just like we're just going to go to the next trailer, and it's just real weird. But anyways, we're gonna go through. I'm just gonna go ahead and go through this chronologically, in the order as they appeared. So we're gonna start with EA. As I think we were kind of saying, EA probably had the weakest conference. They didn't really have a ton to show out. We always expect sports stuff and whatnot. They showed a little bit of. Weirdly, they showed very little of Madden 18. Considering Madden 18 comes out in like 2 months, but there is something that looks like essentially NBA 2K's My Player mode, except in Madden 18. They had a very clear Mahershala Ali. I don't know how to say his name. The guy from Moonlight, the guy from House of Cards, and what's the Netflix show? Yeah, the Netflix show. Luke Cage. Is that just called Luke Cage? I guess it is.
Yeah, Luke Cage.
Yeah. Anyways, he's great. Like, he's cool. He's very clearly in this game. They're definitely going for a full-on story mode about some high school quarterback, or maybe you can choose what position he plays. I don't know. Going through an actual story mode, not just kind of a bread and butter, just play these games and do good and stuff happens around you. But they didn't really talk about it much. There's new stuff coming to Battlefield 1. Again, that's nothing necessarily too exciting. They're going to have night maps, which I guess Battlefield didn't have night maps. I don't know. It's news to me. Yeah. They had a really awkward moment where these two guys called the Men in Blazers came out and just kind of riffed for a while.
That was the theme of the entire show. Was they had a lot of really awkward moments. I mean, that was the big push this year was, hey, let's get these streamers in and let's get them to promote our game. Let's pay them to promote our games and fly them out here. And then, oh wow, they like our games.
Well, I don't know who the Men in Blazers are, but I got the feeling that that is an actual show of some sort. I mean, maybe it's an internet show, but it is like the little sizzle reel they had before had like Will Ferrell and like all these celebrities and sports, like, so it's not like they're just random YouTube guy. Like, they had, I don't know exactly what I'm, and I think they were kind of funny. They did do a cool dig at Peter Moore switching over to the Liverpool, I think it is. Because apparently, I don't know, maybe that football team's not good. I don't know, but I thought that was kind of funny to kind of take a shot at Peter Moore during the EA press conference. I don't know. I always hear that those FIFA games are real good, and this one also looks really good. But they can talk about all the time about how they're getting Ronaldo to do all this motion work and all these things that they're changing. It means nothing to me because I don't play these games.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually the same thing every year. They change a little thing, but only the hardcore are going to make a difference to them anyways. Yeah.
And they had this really confusing thing. So I was taking notes while I was watching it in real time, and so this is literally what I wrote down. I wrote, "Who is Alex Hunter?" ? Then I wrote, "Real?" ? Fake ? Yep. And then later I just like, nope, definitely fake. Like, it took like there was a good amount of time where they had this FIFA player, I guess, who is from the last game, I would imagine. And it's like the FIFA 18 is the ongoing story of this guy.
Great.
But they had like all these but they had all these like ESPN people and football players from around the world like talking about this, and it's like, what is like, is this a real person? Like, did they really just get all these people to talk about this fake video game character? I guess they did.
They just had like celebrities just talking about him and just like, yeah, he's great. He's really good. Like, he's changed the game. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I don't fucking know who you're talking. What are we doing here? It took me until that point where they were like showing him in games, like, oh, okay, now I definitely know.
They eventually cut to him just sitting in a locker room, and he was definitely fake. Man, it was really confusing. And then it got me wondering. So I'm like, so wait, like, usually in these like story games or whatever, like, you could play through that like a character's entire career. So it's like, for the last FIFA game, could you only play like a story mode, like a 1 or 2 seasons with this guy? And then it just ended, and now they're going to continue that. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe really wonder. I don't know. FIFA 8. You know what? FIFA 18 looked beautiful. It looked great. They did some of those shots of like the stadiums and stuff like that, and I thought that looked real good. It's just not. That's just not a game for me.
Yeah, it's not your jam.
It's not my jam. What looks like it could be my jam is Need for Speed Payback. Because that game basically looks like Fast and Furious, the game.
Yeah, they just couldn't get the license.
Right, they could. Which wasn't the Fast and Furious? That was. Did they do some Forza stuff with Fast and Furious?
They did for Forza Horizon 2, but that was years ago at this point. So I don't.
Yeah, I think it was around the time the last movie came out, not the most recent one this year, but I think the one before that, like maybe 2 years ago. Yeah. So the Need for Speed Payback looked real good, you guys. Like that seems like I could actually be interested in playing this game. So I don't think I would say that about a Need for Speed game.
And you can pause it.
When was the last time you played a Need for Speed game?
Is
that a series you even check out?
I'm gonna say probably Need for Speed The Run, which was not good.
That was the one with the QuickTime events, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was the one where it was like this cross country race, so you were going through all these different environments, and it was real actiony. So that does. So remembering that does kind of make me maybe a little worried about this one, because I thought Need for Speed The Run looked really good, and that ended up being kind of disappointing.
The Criterion, what was the one that Criterion first, was it Most Wanted?
Wasn't it
was that
Hot Pursuit or?
Yeah,
I think I played the first one that Criterion did, and that was the last. But that was also one of the only times that I played one of those games, because I don't think they're very good. I'm sure there's a lot of people who love those games. There are a lot of people who love those games, but that one was oh, okay. This is not as good as the other stuff that Criterion has done before. And like Forza with their proper Forza and the Forza Horizon, there are different kinds of Need for Speed games. Like they had Need for Speed Shift, which was essentially a simulation game. They had Most Wanted, which was it's a cops and robbers type thing. This looks like a heist game, like we're saying, basically like Fast and Furious. And it has stuff like you got in those old Burnout games where you are taking out cars and getting the slow motion view of the car you just hit flipping and crashing, and it looked pretty great. Looked very, very scripted. I don't know necessarily that sequence that we saw looked awesome. I don't know how fun that would be to actually play per se. Because it doesn't necessarily see that you were doing a whole lot. It was kind of, like I said, it was very, very scripted. But definitely looked super cool. Something I will probably check out. I didn't catch a date on that one. I think that one's supposed to come out this year, right? Yeah. I think it's November 10th.
November 10th, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not going to have enough games to play this year, so I'll just add another one to the...
I know, right?
There's a lot.
There's that day in October that has Wolfenstein, Assassin's Creed, and Mario all out the same fucking day.
Nice.
Wow.
That's so bad. That's
Huh.
Yeah. Yep. Really sucks.
And you know what? Assassin's Creed probably is the one that loses there. If I was gonna do
totally.
the take two and drop one,
totally.
As cool as Assassin's Creed looks, real cool, and we'll talk about that. But
I can't turn into a motherfucking dinosaur in Assassin's Creed.
I mean,
is the thing about that game
for sure. I mean,
I can turn into an eagle, but I can't turn into a dinosaur.
There was a part in that press conference for Microsoft where there was a giant ass snake, and I'm pretty sure that's not historically accurate. So maybe dinosaurs.
Are you telling me there are parts of Assassin's Creed that have not been exactly true to history?
I mean, aliens.
Shocking.
I mean, everyone knows aliens.
I would be
aliens
shocked.
exist. I mean, everyone knows that.
I would be shocked.
And the aliens are in our computers. I don't remember exactly how. I don't know.
Yeah. But hey, right, also, EA has maybe the coolest fucking looking indie game that they showed this year.
Yes.
Hey.
Okay. So first of all, they had me right up front because they said by the developer Brother A Tale of Two Sons, that game is really cool. The guy out there, whose name is Josef Fares, was like one of the most like likable, impassioned people I've seen on a conference talking about their game. To the point where he had to apologize for being so cocky about how much he was talking about this game. Almost like Molyneux levels, like, this is going to blow your mind. This is going to change everything you've ever thought about video games. Like, almost kind of got to that point a little bit. Yeah, A Way Out looks really, really cool.
It's such a cool, like go from this game where you have to play co-op on a single controller to you will always be playing this game split screen.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, even if you're playing co-op online with a friend, you are still in split screen. And at first I started thinking about that and I thought that sounded real dumb. And then when they started showing the way that they are kind of melding the scenes together, so like this guy is in a cutscene, so they're going to get a larger portion of the screen and the other part's going to be slightly, the way that they're kind of melding that together to kind of tell the story, I can see that actually working, and I can see why they decided to go through it. This game also looks really in depth. Like, I first thought it was just going to be like hey, escape from prison, and you get out of prison and everyone will be happy, and they'll go down to Mexico and they'll get a beach and the whole Red Dead or Shawshank Redemption stuff. But like they're showing like holding up like convenience stores and driving around escaping from the police. Like so one of them was like meeting with his ex-wife. Like it seems like when you escape from prison, there is still a lot of game going on after that point.
It looks like what they were trying to do with Kane and Lynch, and they weren't able to do that well. And it looks like a way better version of that. Get like the way that game works with like, hey, there's going to be points where one person just won't be interacting, and then the other person will be like walking through, getting processed or something, and so the guy's getting the shit beat out of him.
Yeah,
it's such a weird idea, but it also looked really intense. Like it looked like they figured out what they wanted to do with that game. The fact that you like have to play it co-op, I think like that adds something really interesting that you don't see in a lot of games. I was not a super huge fan of Brothers. I thought it was good, but it was not like mind-blowing to me. But this looks fantastic. It was easily, I think, the highlight of their show, which is so fucking weird. Especially when they had like this, they had that announcement like, hey, BioWare's working on a new game, and BioWare got upstaged. Like, that's weird. That's super weird.
Yeah. I will just say, like, I don't know if I necessarily would say that the entirety of Brothers Tale of Two Sons is mind-blowing, but the end of that game, when you are, I don't necessarily want to talk about that right now, the end of the game, but when you are swimming, that part blew my mind. That part was amazing. Like, maybe a little bit of a tear, it was that game was real good. Let's see here. Yeah, so like I said, they talked about Anthem. We can go ahead and talk about Anthem right now. Anthem looks like Destiny with jetpacks in third person. Basically what's going on. It looks really pretty.
It looks real good. But
it looks good, but that's after
that game's a long ways away.
Yeah, like that game is like at earliest 2018, maybe. And they were showing that off.
18 probably.
Yeah, I mean they were showing that off on like Scorpio, and it was like pretty clear like this is a ways away. It looks good.
Yep.
But
they did say 2018, but again, that's all malleable anyways.
I'm super reserved at this point on whatever BioWare makes. Like that sucks.
Fair.
It sucks. Because
it seems like their A team has been working on this for a while the B team worked on Andromeda. No.
Yeah, but what does that what does that mean though? Is like what is A team and B team? Like what does that mean in terms of what they're working on?
is Mass Effect 3. B team is Dragon Age, Inquisition, and Mass Effect.
Man, they've been taking their sweet fucking time then.
Like maybe that B team was working on Dragon Age 2 as well. That's hard to say.
Yeah, the B team handles all the stuff we dislike. With
10 years, they've been working on.
Yeah.
No, so the thing that because it does have such a strong Destiny feel, but how like gorgeous this game was, like it really leads me to doubt it. Like it reminds me of Watch Dogs when Watch Dogs was first shown off and how beautiful that was, and what it and although like gameplay wise and whatnot, I think Watch Dogs delivered on what we expected. It was all the hacking stuff. They didn't like cut that down, but it definitely had like a dropper. Like, oh yeah, they couldn't actually pull this great visuals off for Watch Dogs. And I kind of got the feeling like if this is a giant open world with all this stuff like it looks like it could be, there's no way it looks this good, has explosions that look that cool. Like there's a part where there's this giant walking robot thing pulled right out of Horizon that like falls over and like knocks over some trees. And I'm like, unless that's like 100% scripted, there's no way that stuff is happening. Like, yeah. I'm real skeptical about the reality of what that game actually would be.
Totally. And like you look at like everything they're doing right now with Destiny 2, you have to wonder. I mean, you have to assume, right, that they're going to be looking at that game and going like, okay, what do we do? What did they do? And like, does that delay it? Like,
no. Anthem is third person. Okay, so that's totally different.
Totally different. It's like you're holding the sword the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. I did think it was funny. So at the beginning of the demo, it's in first person, and then you get into the suit, and then it switches to third person. And I was like, man, Destiny is the exact opposite. Like when you're in the hub area, it's all third person, and then when you get out, you're in first. I was like, oh, this is funny.
Yeah, it looked real pretty, and it is definitely a thing that I doubt. But I guess like at this point, like what if they fuck this up? Where does BioWare sit with EA? I mean, they already had all of those layoffs at Montreal. Sounds like Andromeda just didn't sell well. Like, I mean, what happens to BioWare if this thing like does not do well? Is the thing that
mention Mass Effect?
They didn't mention it all. They didn't mention Mass Effect a single time.
Exactly. Like they were, so they had that ad for like the free week of Origin, and they're like, you can play all of our greatest games, Battlefront, Battlefield, and others. And it was just oh, that's so bad. Wow. Like you almost wonder if they're like starting to get into like if this doesn't go well, are they in Visceral territory? Like, I like Visceral stuff, but they are not making their own games anymore. They're doing support for other games, and then they've got that supposed Star Wars thing, which that's years off at this point. So
it was a complete no-show here.
That was a surprise. I was expecting them to like have a stinger for that. Like, hey, here's all of our Battlefield stuff, or Battlefront stuff, and then stinger, here's the next thing.
Yeah, well, not even that, but like specifically with Battlefront 2, the thing that I think is in question of that game is the single player mode, and all they did was show us a half an hour of multiplayer. And
they had a trailer that had John Boyega going like, yeah, there's single player in it now.
Yeah, just trust us. It's there.
Just trust us. It exists. And then they had a lady with a really, really like weird, cool Star Wars dress on.
That was a cool dress for sure. How many people do you think? Like I kind of knew in the back of my mind that John Boyega was British, but how many people do you think were shocked by that? To hear John Boyega actually speaking.
They're
normally.
Making Star Wars British now. I can't believe it.
I'm sure a ton of people were surprised by that.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to see.
Attack the block. Come on, fucking get on your shit, guys.
I wanted to see single player stuff. Like,
yeah.
I played a little bit of Battlefront, and I felt like it was pretty solid, maybe a little shallow, and nothing that they necessarily showed in that long, awkward demonstration really showed me anything new. It's like, oh yeah, you get to play as the droids from episode 1. Cool, I guess. They look like that whole thing looked cool, and like the lighting and the effects were really great, but
it totally makes me wonder if like the campaign is just like Battlefield 1's only in space. Like if they just did that again, like they have this big emphasis on we've got a campaign, but it's super short and like nobody remembers it, even though there's like some cool stuff in it.
I was gonna ask, when does the campaign take place? Like, does it take place between?
It's between
Return of the Jedi and the original
Jedi and Force Awakens.
Oh, okay.
They don't want to show it because they had a scene in the trailer that was just like, oh shit, the Death Star just got blown up and the Emperor is dead.
Oh, okay.
But then they also like had a weird like trooper who had like a fake hologram face, but it was Palpatine on it for some reason. Like you could do cool shit with what they've got. I just don't feel like we know anything about it, and I don't think we're going to.
Yeah, so Star Wars is determined to make there be no breaks between their movies. Kind of like how Rogue One took you right up to the beginning of A New Hope. This one's going to span that 20 years between Jedi and the Force.
I mean, look, if it's at least a better movie than Rogue One, then at least that'll be something.
I don't even know how to take that.
Rogue One's a bad movie. That's how you take it.
Whoa.
I can't even be like tiebreaker because I still haven't even seen Rogue One. Because I heard so much people talking bad things about it.
It's not good.
I really liked Rogue One.
Hey, here's all these guys that you think are really cool, but actually they're assholes. They're all the worst.
And you know
they're all garbage people. Fuck them all.
Spoiler, they all die, so it's okay.
Spoilers.
That's true. I mean, you should have known that going into that movie.
Yeah.
So another thing that's really cool is that they did with Titanfall, which is another game that got no mention during EA's press conference.
Yeah.
All of the content for Battlefront 2 is going to be free, they said. The new heroes has come along, new maps, weapons, etc., all going to be free to the game. They basically said they're going to have seasons of content. The first season is going to be based off of the next Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi, and it's all going to be free. So that is really cool. Like that's a cool move.
They're microtransactioning it. Is how they're implementing it.
If you pre-order, you get the level 14 Yoda lightsaber or something or other. Like I forget what it was, but I was like, oh, I don't know what that means, but that's microtransactions right there.
Yeah, yep. They totally are just like. Yeah, so like they had that free Origin trial thing, and I downloaded Battlefield 1 just to kind of take a look at it. That game has fucking loot boxes in it.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Yeah, I think they were the originals. I remember opening up battle packs like in Battlefield 3, I want to say, and it would give you attachments for your weapons and all this stuff.
I mean, it's been how many years since 1942? Like that was the last one I played. Granted,
oh Jesus!
With like any with any amount of time put in, that was like the weird like. Or was it 43? That was the one that came to like the PS3.
The XBLA version was 1943.
Oh, okay.
Which was fantastic. That was a fun little game.
Yes, it was.
It was, and like it like pretty much kind of like instantly died too, which sucked. But it was good. It was.
I mean, if you were playing it on PS3, then yeah, of course it was.
Yeah.
You were playing a multiplayer game on PS3 during that time when everything on PS3 sucked. No offense to Sony fanboys, but
so there is a sushi game that they just announced at Nintendo's thing, like a match sushi game. So we got news. Okay, on to. I mean, do we want to talk at all about the multiplayer thing? That weird ass thing, or do we just let it speak for itself because it was terrible?
I don't think the idea of it was terrible, and the iJustine and the Golden Boy, I thought they did a good job of. I mean, versus the other YouTuber guy that was on there earlier, the guy who did does a pranking show, who just fumbled and clearly was not prepared. Or
the difference is that guy's teleprompter broke. The people who were so like his teleprompter broke. The people who were doing the commentary for that Battlefield thing, though, totally had teleprompters. Like, it was like none of this shit was organic. It was tough to watch. In like the same way that I have, and like thankfully it was like almost completely gone. The only one that I saw it with was like Anthem, but like the pre-recorded like multiplayer voiceover, like it was like that.
Yeah.
But it was worse. And there was the other one at Microsoft, which we can talk about. But
so I see the thing that I didn't find the commentary stuff. I didn't find that bad. The actual like action, like in theory, that action was supposed to be live, right? I supposedly couldn't actually tell if it was live or not. But like whoever then was in charge of cutting back and forth between various streams was doing a terrible job. Like right as something was about to happen, they would cut away to someone else, and it's like, no, like we wanted to see, like, you missed someone shooting out, like dogfighting, like shooting out a ship out of the sky because they cut away from it, and you got to see it from like the person getting shots down perspective. And I'm like, that's no one wants to see that. Why did you cut there? So it was really. And you didn't get a good idea of what was actually going on in the match, like maybe because it's so early in the game, but like. I didn't like when they lost. It was like, I guess they lost. I don't know why they lost. I don't know what was happening here.
Well, but then like they pushed the payload, but then they're like, oh, but now it's on to wave 2. It's like, wait, what? Like you've waves? Like now you're talking about the waves of it, and they're like, yeah, now okay, they did wave 2. It's like, wait, I blinked and I missed wave 2. What the fuck was wave 2? Okay, wave 3, motherfuckers, let's go.
Yeah. I think it's like Battlefield's rush mode where it has like 3 different steps. But it was like. The line between them and what actually happened to I have no idea, and it was just kind of a mess overall. So I think, like I said, EA is probably the weakest. It kind of just gets better from there.
Well, I mean, like when we were talking about what we should put on our poll, it was like I think we were all pretty much in agreement. Like the when we can only choose 4 of these, we clearly cut EA off of this because it wasn't a good show.
Yeah. So Microsoft obviously. The Xbox One X, or as you pointed out, Adam, it's the Xbox XBOX.
It's the stupidest bullshit. They're just like, yeah, we can't technically just call it the Xbox. But let's get close enough.
I think it's important to keep the one branding because they are trying to keep this as one series of consoles. So the Xbox One, the One S, and the One X. It does make sense. I don't think I think it has like a bad tongue feel. Like it's not easy to say. It doesn't sound good when you say it. Like
I think it also like has a similar problem to like what the Wii U had. Like it just like your average everyday person, like, okay, there's the Xbox One S, but there's also the Xbox One X. Like, what's the difference? Yeah. What's the discernible difference between the two of them?
Not like, I mean, X sounds cooler than S. It's a higher letter.
But just imagine being like that mom that knows nothing about video games, walk into a GameStop and be like,
also think,
do you want the X or the S?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I also think like at some point though that even they would say like, no, this is a premium console experience because they priced it at $500.
Yeah, they did.
Which that's not.
Yeah, they did.
That's not a great price. I think Sony, like, for as much as I didn't like Sony's press conference, quote unquote press conference, which is just a series of trailers, they made a really strong case for, hey, these games still look really good running on a Pro, like, and it's $100 cheaper. You know, I look at that as somebody who, you know. I look at it as somebody who has a 4K TV, and I'm like, you know what? Great. That means that I can get a $200 HD Blu-ray player if I really want to at holiday, because I'm not going to buy that thing.
I mean, I guess I go back to kind of what I was saying on Twitter with various people. I'm not interested in either of these consoles because I don't have a 4K TV. I'm probably not going to buy one for a while. Mm-hmm, but if Microsoft, if this is really a jump in power compared to the PlayStation 4 Pro, if it is really pushing out the what do they call it? They kept calling it 4K Ultra, and HDR,
true 4K,
right? So, something that legitimately the PlayStation Pro does have issues with doing 4K on a lot of games. If it's pushing that out on most of the games, that there is something to be said about why a person who didn't already have a PlayStation Pro, why they would look at that if they really want it to look as best as it can. Like, that could be the place where third-party games are going to run the best. This could be the game where all the games look the best, even if the Microsoft exclusive stuff doesn't look that great. Like, there's still something to be said about having the most powerful console on the market. Doesn't mean you're going to be the most popular. PlayStation 3 will tell you about that. But
I also, totally. But also, I think like there's also something to be said for, hey, we can still do 4K, and we're $100 cheaper. Like, I think for a lot of people that's And the thing is, the Pro definitely has had trouble getting to that point, but now they are starting to people are starting to adopt it in a smarter way. So and you got to assume. So the thing that is good for everybody across the board on this is that this means that hopefully there will be a sort of similar standard between Pro and X and PC. So hopefully that just kind of means that all of these versions of these games will start running a little bit more stably. You would hope. Yeah. So that, I mean, that's kind of nice. I really wonder, and they came out and they said we're not making money off of this thing at this price.
Yeah. And that makes sense because of how much is in that.
Yeah.
Like, when you think about what it takes to build a PC to run 4K games, it's like 3 times that cost. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I just, there's also something to be said, I think, for and it depends how much money do you got in your coffers at this point, and could you take a loss? Could we just take a loss for the first year on it? And then we can say, hey, we have the true 4K experience, we have HDR, we have 4K Blu-ray, and we're the same price.
Exactly.
I understand the business side of it, and maybe that doesn't make sense for them. Maybe they can't afford to do that. I don't know. Because those rumors always come up right lately of, Microsoft's looking to drop their console thing. They're never going to, but you have to wonder if they could just be could we for a year afford to take a hit on it, afford to eat some of this cost, and at that price, at $400, I think it's a lot more sensible to people to say also you should probably start looking at upgrading to 4K and that stuff. I
totally hear you, and I don't know if the difference between the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X, even if the Xbox One X does end up being more powerful, I don't know if that difference is worth $100. It's probably not when you consider the difference in exclusives that the PlayStation has and the Xbox One has. I can just say I can see there was a reason that people went out and got the PlayStation 3 over the Xbox 360, even though the Xbox 360 was the dominant console, and it's for people that were looking for that. The Blu-ray player, and we're looking for the most powerful console that could play stuff like Metal Gear Solid 4 that, quote unquote, the Xbox 360 couldn't run.
Right.
Right. And the PS3 started off by coming out $5.99, and they
exactly
$5.99.
And then they realized that was a mistake.
There was their 20 gig version, which nobody wanted, which I think was $500. Which was terrible. That was a bad choice on their part. And then the one everybody wanted was $600, and then a year later they dropped the price by $100. And that's when they started rolling out the revisions.
Yeah. And if this rolls out like Xbox has been doing, that means that this is something you're going to get for $450 with 3 or 4 free games sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometime like about a year from now or so, or maybe the fall after or something. Like, I mean,
yeah,
Xbox
next year
is not
for
sold
sure.
great. Xbox is not sold for great, and they've done a lot of promotions and stuff like that to get you to buy an Xbox.
Well, hey, Kyle, let me make a suggestion to you, buddy. What if I told you that Xbox, XBOX, Xbox One X, was going to finally have the power to run original Xbox games? Panzer Dragoon Orta, Jet Set Radio Future, Crimson Skies.
Hold on.
That's all I can think of.
Just brought me back with Jet Set Radio Future. Yeah, and I'm on board. I forgot about. Yeah, how I tweeted this. How in the world does Microsoft make an announcement like that and not have and Crimson Skies is available for free right now if you have
totally
Games Gold.
Totally, like, I don't get that.
How does that not happen?
I don't get it.
I mean, obviously they're not done with it yet, and it's not a thing. But like, that should be the announcement. Like, do you have games with gold? This game is free for you right now. Go download it and play it.
Yeah, or presumably this gets like looped into that Xbox Game Pass at some point, where just hey, you can play these games.
Okay, I'm sure it would as well.
And then then you get more people into that thing.
Yeah,
I just don't know what Xbox games I would want to go back for.
I said this on Twitter. Like what games? Like I named the 3 that I can think of, but what games are there that haven't been remastered or re-released? The big one that I always think of is KOTOR, but that's had like 1 million re-releases at this point. So
yeah, that's on PC, that's on iPad. I mean,
yeah. So like, what is it? Like Psychonauts has been re-released. Fahrenheit has been re-released. Like all these games have been re-released.
Yeah,
Halo's been re-released for Christ's sakes. So
yeah, most of the Microsoft like big boys, like Ninja Gaiden.
Look, that was my console. That was the console I had when I was at that point in my life, and I liked it, but there were not a lot of games for it that were like
Fusion
exclusive.
Frenzy.
Fusion Frenzy.
Blinks the time, cats. Look, we're getting a new Bubsy game.
That was a weird announcement.
We're getting a new Bubsy game, so we can assume that like this is the year of the cat. Blinks Time Sweeper, bring him back.
Hey, I have fond memories of that Bubsy from the Super Nintendo.
I mean, I get
you. Really, it's like you. You're the one person who's keeping Bubsy alive, Kyle.
No, I don't want to do Bubsy game. I was just like, oh yeah, I remember Bubsy. Yeah, there was a cat, and you got Ballsy Yarn. I think
like there's the remake of those. I think is on Steam. If you're really feeling nostalgic, yeah.
First of all, I didn't know it was those. I only ever played one of them, so I didn't know. I had heard that there are other ones. I definitely did not know that until very recently.
I was gonna say. I mean, I give it up to Microsoft for, I guess, like supporting this backwards compatibility thing, but I mean, in reality, how many people are actually going to play their old Xbox games on this? Like, if they're pushing the most powerful console ever, why are they going to show it off, or why are they going to play games from like 12 years ago?
I think it just allows them to have one more bullet point.
Yeah, people want to think that they can do it, even though they will never actually do it.
Like also another thing is that original Xbox emulation is nearly impossible at this point on the PC, so you might as well. Like if you try to find Xbox emulation, it is rare to find anything that works, and then to like find anything like any sort of games or anything like that, it's impossible because of how the architecture was built.
It's the same reason that I bought so many different Steam games for a long time. Like I'm totally gonna play this sometime. Never will actually play most of those games.
Yep. And I've 1,000 games later, and I have all of these, and I have all these games that I will never revisit. Yeah.
Yeah. I stopped at some point, and I'm like, no, don't buy. You will never play that, Kyle. You've already beaten Far Cry 3. You don't need to go back and play Far Cry 3 again, Kyle. I still have it. Okay, so. We got Forza 7's coming out October 3rd. The note I wrote down was, honestly, I'm not even paying attention right now. It's a racing game.
It looks really good, but also the PC version of Forza has had 4K, so it's not super surprising that it has support. It looks really good. Those guys,
looks really good.
Before, they know how to make that thing run. So
yeah, and racing games by not necessarily having to have people always look amazing. Like cars are easy to make look beautiful. Probably not easy, but you know what I mean. Easier.
I just can't believe they're up to 7 already, and that's not counting like the
Horizons, because they're on Horizon 3.
Is that
Horizon 3?
So it's like 10. It's like 10 games already. Jesus.
It's a lot of Forza games.
I mean, I guess people play them if they keep pumping them out. So, Jesus.
Yeah.
So one of the bigger surprises, I think, from kind of across all the conferences was Metro Exodus.
You goddamn right it was. Yeah.
I hadn't even considered another Metro game. To be perfectly honest, I didn't play Last Light. I played a little bit of 2033 and just couldn't get into it. But I've always heard good things about them.
There's those Redux versions that are really good. They are fucking amazing. It's not, I guess, so I'm super happy that there is, but also the author of the Metro games, or the author of the Metro books, rather, has been kind of out there recently, like talking a lot about like, yeah, like these games really helped me, and I have a lot more money than I would if I didn't have these games. Also, that's related to the guy from the guy who wrote the Witcher books being like, I fucking hate those games, and my books are more popular than those games.
Yeah, the way they say the games are popular because of the books, not the other way around.
Yep.
Like that.
You know, maybe in Poland, that's the case, but worldwide, not so much.
I don't think that's true.
I'm so down with the new Metro game. Those like I've read the books. I love the games. Like I love that universe that they built. I'm so fucking excited, and they're like above ground now, and
it's like open world.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah,
and for like those guys make good looking games, so it totally makes sense that they would be showing off. I did think it was kind of, let's say, a little bit of a stretch of the truth when they're like, and I want to show you guys a game that we helped bring out to the Xbox 360, and like you had nothing to do with that game coming. Like you maybe helped with the port, but you definitely didn't. Also, that port is really bad. So,
so it kind of like there's a lot of people guessing that it might be a open world game, and someone came out. I forget the name of the developer. Someone came out and said like, no, this is like it's kind of like open world ish, but it's not an open world like it is.
It's Arkham City.
You know what though? That's fine because they make like I heard somebody say on Twitter like they make a very similar sort of a world that kind of makes it feel like it's more open than what it is, sort of like how Half-Life does. And I totally agree with that. I'm super stoked for this game. Like I flipped my shit. I will be honest. That was so cool. Because like it showed it, and it's like, man, that looks a lot like the engine they made Metro in. But also, those guys were supposed to be working on something that they said was not Metro, and then he like just pops his wrist up and like, that's Metro.
Yeah,
it has a very distinct style to it. It's actually the reason I started fucking learning Russian is because of that.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
it's random.
That's hardcore.
Yeah. Well, like I've always like found that part of the world interesting, and like reading the books and it definitely made me go like, I should maybe start learning this language and then like everything else happened and I started thinking I should probably learn Russian.
Oh no.
Hey, Cuphead and Tacoma have release dates.
Yeah, they do.
Segue.
Yeah.
Are they both this year?
Let's
see.
Yeah, they're both this year.
Yeah. Tacoma's in August, and Cuphead was September, wasn't it?
Yep.
Sounds right.
I wrote it down. Yeah, September 29th for Cuphead, August 2nd for Tacoma. Hey, it's about damn time.
Yeah, totally.
Let's see here. See other things at Microsoft. No, go ahead. Do you have something to say about Cuphead that we don't already know after like the 4 years that's been shown and teased?
I have an exclusive scoop on it. It's finally coming out, you guys.
Yeah. Oh, that game looks so good.
It does.
That game looks so amazing. Let's see. So Assassin's Creed Origins surprisingly got shown off at the Microsoft conference. Tends to be kind of, as we talked about on our show last week, Ubisoft stuff tends to be shown off at PlayStation because Ubisoft and PlayStation have all exclusivities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it just was here. I don't think they really talked about any type of exclusive. It just happened to be here. It is definitely set in Egypt, and it's ancient as Egypt, which is exactly how I would want it to be. And obviously it's called Origins because it's about the beginning of the Assassin's Creed Guild, and that's a super cool idea of kind of seeing how that whole thing started off.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, it seems like Assassin's Creed's like mixing in other types of stuff. Like it's got straight up like leveling with a skill tree. It's got color-coded loot that you pick up from enemies.
Yeah.
It's got Destiny's menu. Like it's straight up got Destiny's menu.
Destiny.
Yep.
So stop me if you've heard this before. When you are jumping from a height, you can pull out your bow and slow down time while you shoot people in the. Yeah.
Has there been another game that's done that this year? I can't think of one.
Not recently. Yeah, it's really interesting what they are doing with that game. Also, I was kind of watching some because they didn't, like we said, they didn't really show a whole lot of it during the show. I watched kind of an extended gameplay, and the map in that world looks gigantic. Like I thought it was like, oh, it's going to be set in like Giza or whatever, and that's why you're in the shade of the pyramid and you can like slide down the pyramid. Like no, like it's like there's like 2 separate deserts in that game. There's like an entire like fertile area by the Nile. Like the map looked absolutely gigantic. Kind of reminded me of like the Black Flag map, except it's land for the most part, not water. That game could be really, really cool if they kind of nail down that stuff of, hitting like I love loot. Like give me loot all the time. And apparently all games either need to have loot in game or loot boxes of some sort. And
yep.
I'm okay with that, I guess, because I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Also, like I mentioned earlier, there's a part in that trailer where there's just a giant ass snake, and I don't really know what's up with that because, for all their joking aside, Assassin's Creed has been fairly grounded so far, aside from the whole like Animus alien computer thing.
Aside from its whole premise, it's been grounded.
Yes. It's
a prize premise at the time.
It's a they talked about how this is during the era of Cleopatra, which means you're totally going to have missions for Cleopatra, or maybe assassinate Cleopatra. There, who knows? It could go either way there. Yeah, but that's rough that it's coming out the same day as Mario and Wolfenstein. That's real rough for Assassin's Creed. And look, to be perfectly honest, Assassin's Creed will probably sell more than Wolfenstein will.
Yeah, they'll do fine.
I am personally more interested in Wolfenstein. Let's see here. Going down, Gus, you were right about the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds coming to.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
That was a good call.
That is a super legitimate surprise, considering they've said that they are not going to be working on those hey, turns out people will do different things for big piles of money.
They will.
That's exactly what I said when Gus brought that up. I'm like, Microsoft is known for just in a big old dump truck and just drop it into people's parking lots and be like, hey, why don't you come to Xbox One, guys? Not only that,
maybe they could use that money to like keep the thing at $400, but whatever.
Hey, you know what? They also said exclusive to Xbox. I'm gonna guess it's a launch exclusive, like a timed exclusive type thing.
It's probably gonna be in their early access deal. I think
they said console exclusive.
How?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
They said console exclusive.
Exclusive means so many different things nowadays.
It meant so many different bullshit, especially in that show.
Yeah, and press conference durations.
Yeah.
Like launch exclusive, console exclusive, true exclusive. Like this is only for us guys. Yeah.
That also was the best. That is significantly better than any game of PlayerUnknown's. That just looks instantly better.
Trailer?
Yes,
the trailer they showed. Was,
no game ever looks. No game of that ever looks that good. Like they showed okay. So I straight up had a moment where it's like, oh, okay. You're supposed to shoot the bottom of the door so you can chuck a grenade in there. Oh, that's how you're supposed to deal with that situation. Shit, I've been doing it wrong.
I mean, the first cut of that trailer was just someone camping behind a door for 3 minutes, but then they decided that they wanted to liven it up a little bit, It is funny how over-exaggerated that trailer is. But, yeah, that's a good get for Microsoft to get that on Xbox. And it's supposed to be this fall. It's supposed to be, they said, late 2017. So it's supposed to be this year. And, yeah, you'll probably come to their... game preview, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
I'll probably come to that program. Let's see, you got Deep Rock Galactic, which I had never heard of before.
I hadn't heard of it either, but it looks really cool.
It's like Minecrafty with dwarfs, but then
looked like there was like
lots of fighting and shooting and stuff.
Probably should have done some amount of research on this game. I'll be honest, that's on me. It kind of almost seemed like it was almost roguelike. Sort of thing where it's okay, you and your team have to go down and try to do all this stuff. It looked really cool. It had a very good style to it. Yeah,
that could be, because that is one of two games that I noticed had a thing that said Mixer Interactivity. Kind of like they have those games out there where you can watch them on Twitch and put things in chat that will affect the game. I'm assuming that's what they mean. So that would make more sense if it is if it was a roguelike to have hey, now spawn this good thing or bad thing or whatever.
Class-based co-op FPS is how it's being described on Steam.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah, and then the other one of those was the Darwin Project, which is basically a PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds game.
Don't know what that game was. Was too distracted by the asshole screaming over it.
Oh yeah,
that was really bad.
That was bad.
That was really bad. That was really. That was terrible.
The worst part of the conference for Microsoft for sure.
That might be the worst part of all the conferences. That was really bad. Ugh.
Yeah, that was tough.
But yeah, that one also had a thing. That also had a thing that popped up that said Mixer Interactivity, and you actually saw that in the gameplay demo that was there, where someone got a shield put on them or something like that. That seems kind of dumb if that's a gameplay affecting thing for a competitive multiplayer. I don't know. Let's see here. We got a State of Decay 2. Which we already knew was a thing, but they showed off that a little bit more. That's coming out next year. That game might actually end up being the thing that I wanted the first State of Decay game to be, because I really liked that first game, but it felt like that should have been multiplayer the entire time, and they are going full force with co-op on State of Decay 2.
Yeah, I liked ideas that they did with that game, but it just seemed super proto.
And I never liked the whole your character could potentially die and then you just have to switch to a different character and go get that. That was just a weird idea. I kind of just hey, let me just be my guy. And this one probably will still have that same type of thing, but at least in co-op you can have other people with you. And that game could be
there
really
was
cool.
Straight up permadeath. Seemed to be the implication of it, which is cool.
Yeah. Let's see here. They are doing a cool thing with Minecraft where they are making all versions of Minecraft play together.
Almost all versions of Minecraft.
Except PS4.
Well,
except for the PS4 version.
Yeah, except for Sony.
So
Nintendo Switch, the mobile versions, PC, Xbox. It's good stuff.
That's actually
Sony
cool.
came out. Yeah, Sony came out and they said, "Hey, no, this is not going to happen, like ever." Their words were super disingenuous of like, we have a duty to our fan base to ensure the quality of PlayStation stuff. And it came out like after the Rocket League thing, where they announced that Rocket League on Switch was going to be cross-platform with everything too.
Arrogant except for PlayStation.
Arrogant Sony is back, baby. It's been a few years, but it's back.
It's been a generation.
Yeah.
And then they actually showed off the real reason that you would want to get an Xbox One X, which is to play Minecraft in 4K.
4K Minecraft.
With the super duper graphics pack. That's actually what it's called. I find that hilarious.
Yep.
And you know what? Damn it, that looked really good. Like, I know there's mods on like PC version that you can do that kind of make it look like that, but that looked really good. The super duper graphics. Some people might make fun of the fact that you're taking a game that is intentionally ugly and making it look good. But
I'm going to, sir. For actual.
I don't have a problem with that. I think it looks real good.
Well, like making fun of them on Twitter, and then they're like, well, actually, it's vector graphics, so it really does make it look better. And I'm like, okay, guys, calm down.
We're going to start using voxels with our next update instead of just pixels, so it's definitely way more advanced than you think.
I do say that they did give people a good reason to pull out, like, it's Minecraft 2 jokes on Twitter. That's always fun. I like
finally,
the idea of
the sequel to Minecraft we've all been waiting for.
I just freak out how many people still play Minecraft. Like, that just like boggles my mind.
Minecraft is real good, like really good. I don't play it much anymore, but like I really appreciate it, and I dumped a ton of hours into Minecraft.
Yep.
Let's see. So we got Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Fucking A! It looks so sick. It looks so sick. Oh, yeah. It looks so good.
I don't even like Dragon Ball, and I was like, "Damn, that looks good!" Like,
yeah,
like 2D ish. Like it's they're
using the Guilty Gear.
It looks very much like 2D.
They're using the Guilty Gear Xrd engine for that game, game looks Xrd looks fucking fantastic. So you know what? You goddamn right, I'm gonna be playing that. Like. It's so weird because they also, like, Sony put out, like, hey, we've got the demo for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and, like...
Oh, God, and that looks so bad!
It's so terrible! It's really bad! It's so bad!
I mean, you compare that to Dragon Ball, but you also compare that to Injustice, which we just got, and that Marvel game looks ugly. Oh,
you compare it to fuck, like Tekken's never looked great, but goddamn, it looks amazing compared to that shit.
Yeah, Tekken looks real good too. That Dragon Ball, is that a thing that had been pre-announced? I had never heard of that before.
The thing that came out, there was apparently like a supposed leaked screenshot that hit like a couple days before, and everybody's like, yeah, right, like we're actually gonna get a 2D Dragon Ball Z fighter game in this day and age, and then they're like, yo, motherfuckers, what up?
You are, bitch.
Let's see here. They showed off Black Desert, which is Black Desert Online, which is coming. The only thing I know about that is that it apparently has the best character creator in any game ever. I don't know anything else about it besides
Kyle,
that.
Okay, so everybody go watch Monster Factory Black Desert Online and watch their spot-on Bart Simpson that they created for that game.
Yeah, it's
tip to toe, that is a Bart.
That is a Bart.
So it's something. Like I said, I don't know anything about it besides the character creators look real good on it. You talked about how much you thought Dragon Ball looked good. The last night was a like pixel graphics 3D version that looked like jaw dropping to me. I don't know anything about that game. besides that little trailer, but
I feel gorgeous. Like after the past couple days, I know a bit too much about that game. Okay. It is E3 2017's Milkshake Duck. Turns out that guy is not exactly a good human being.
Not a good person.
Yeah. He's not a good person. He's a pretty bad person. And also, turns out that Notch is also a giant piece of shit. Like, he had we knew that. He had a really bad mental breakdown on Twitter. Where I will just say it. Like, I'm going to say the word, but like he just straight up was calling people cunts, and it was super ugly. The whole thing, like even they and the company tried to come back and defend it and say like, well, that stuff that he believed then, but if you kind of looked at the stuff he was saying just a couple months ago, where he was kind of saying that, like, you know, shit about trans people doesn't look good, which sucks because that game did look really good, but now I'm not gonna buy it because I don't want to support that guy. It sucks. We are milkshake ducking people at like a faster than ever speed that has ever been known to man. It's incredible. But just as soon as something comes out that you're looking like that looks really cool, you immediately are like, okay, when are we gonna find out that this guy like has a clan uniform in his closet or some shit like that? It sucks. The internet sucks. Shut it all down.
Let's see. You got the so this was Microsoft's part of this conference where they just kind of were doing trailer after trailer after trailer, not really talking a whole lot. You had the Artful Escape, which was a platformer with a guy playing a guitar.
Brody Quest cool. The game. Brody Quest the game.
Is that a Mallrats reference?
No. Brody Quest is a years old thing. Just, it's like one of the the early like Neil Sersinga like Flash animations. Go like watch Brody Quest. It's like 3 minutes and you will be like, oh yeah, that's what that game is. Looks cool. I don't know anything about it, but it looks cool.
They didn't say anything about it. It just it said that it was coming when it's damn ready. So that explains the kind of style that they're going for. Yep. We had Code Vein, which is some RPG that kind of looked like a Tales game, like a Tales of Vesperia and whatnot. They didn't really talk anything about that. They had a really long demo about Sea of Thieves. And Sea of Thieves looks like a game that I would really like that no one will play. Like
I got turned around on it. Yeah. I got turned around. I thought it looked really good.
Like I really like it. I think it looks like it'd be super cool. They definitely got some cool elements, like when they were doing that ship battle and then you just got in the cannon and shot over to the other ship. Like I was like, that's pretty great right there. They had, I was worried at the beginning because the first part of it, they were just showing you shooting skeletons with a pistol. And I'm like, there's got to be sword fighting in here. And then they did show the sword fighting at the end. Because I'm like, how do you have a pirate game without sword fighting?
I thought it was really cool that they had also just straight up yes, you have to follow the directions that are on these maps of walk 13 paces. And it's like, you have to walk 13 paces to get to this point.
Yeah. That's cool. And there was a point where it's like, as you're making the steps, there was I don't know what it was. It was like a sound that was kind of letting you know to help you count the paces out. Yeah. It was that. And that's cool stuff. There is cool things that are going on in that game. Still not entirely sure what overall that game is
Yeah.
But it looks real cool. It seems like if you got some friends together, you could have some fun with that game. Let's see. They showed off Super Lucky's Tale. I got real pissed off about that game because they had a orange, fluffy-tailed thing running around the outside of the screens, and then it wasn't Conker, and I was really pissed off.
Were you really pissed off, or were you at least it's not young Conker?
I mean, look, it's fine. I don't really care. I don't need Conker to come back. I've come to a realization in my life where I'm fine just letting Conker's Bad Fur Day just be its one thing, and there never being another one.
Yeah.
But that was like no, okay. Especially because they had just finished the Sea of Thieves stuff a little bit before that.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Super Lucky's Tale was something that was on the Oculus. Is that getting that right?
Yeah. Lucky's Tale was an Oculus thing, which is weird because I always thought that was like an internal thing because Lucky and Lucky Palmer. So weird, but
could just be a coincidence. Could just be a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they farmed it out to like another studio to do a third person thing because Microsoft and Oculus have kind of had that little bit of a partnership. We didn't see any VR.
So I mean that looked cool. Yeah, no, that looked cool. I know they didn't say anything about VR at all in this entire press conference.
Sounds like they said like we're looking at it. We're looking to see what we could do. So maybe next year we have something.
Yeah,
assuming that VR is still alive at that point, in some reasonable way.
I mean, Sony is all about VR. They have lots of VR games.
Hey, we're getting the prequel to Until Dawn on VR. Okay.
I don't know if it's a prequel per se.
It is. No, it absolutely. It is point blank a prequel. It is set 60 years before Until Dawn in the mental
Sweet.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, you
down for that.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
My biggest disappointment was what they showed off of Crackdown 3 and what they've shown out of Crackdown 3. They gave it a release date, November 7th. And they had a off-the-wall Terry Crews yelling at you, the thing that Terry Crews does, and I like Terry Crews a whole lot. But they didn't really show anything about the game other than, it's got 4-player co-op, and it looks like a Crackdown game. There are orbs. Orbs are back. There's a little bit of gameplay out there. I'm talking like short, like 4 or 5 minute gameplay bursts that look, it's like jumping around. It's shooting people from the air. You're picking up stuff and throwing it at people. It's got upgrades and stuff, based, kills for skills. I was just really surprised they didn't show that much about Crackdown 3. They didn't talk at all about the destructible environments, the cloud computing, all that jazz from the first time they showed that off.
It's almost like that stuff doesn't exist anymore.
I don't know.
That's supposed to be coming out this year, right? Oh, Jesus, November 7th.
Yeah, November 7th is what they say.
Jesus.
But I would say so, and the graphics on it, people complaining about the graphics. I think it is what it is. It's cartoony graphics, not necessarily going to look that great. But people have been saying that it plays really well and that it is fun from what they played with it at E3. So that gives me some amount of hope. But I'm just surprised for essentially being their big game for this fall and the game that is launching with the Xbox One X that they didn't spend more time talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't even made that connection.
Yeah, because a lot of the other games are coming out, like Forza and Assassin's Creed, and they're all coming out before the One X comes out. So it's like, you're probably going to play those games when it comes out. Maybe you'll get a One X and then continue to play it. Yeah. But that's just, like, this is, like, the game that it's just weird that they didn't talk about it so much. There was a whole sequence of ID at Xbox games. I didn't go back and watch it to catch what was in there. The only thing I remember is that there was some weird card Fable game that was in there, kind of like Hearthstone, kind of like the Elder Scrolls Legends. So that's interesting. I thought Fable was dead. I thought everyone had forgotten about Fable, especially Microsoft.
That was about it.
Yeah. That was about it. That was not about it.
That was about
it. They had their entire thing for Life is Strange 2, which is a prequel.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, the Life is Strange thing. I forgot about that. Yeah.
They because of the voice actor strike, it is not the same voice actor that played Chloe in the first game.
Yeah,
that's disappointing. It's also really weird that it's a prequel, and not a
that's weird.
Completely different story. Yeah. I thought it would just be a completely different story, completely unrelated.
Surprising prequels.
There's my little bit of socialism tendency where I go, oh, they hired scabs so that they could get this game out.
Yeah.
And it's a shorter. It's only
frustrating.
It's only 3 episodes. It's only 3 episodes. Where the first one was 5 episodes, so it's a shorter thing. First episode comes out in the end of August, so it is right around the corner.
They also said there's going to be like a deluxe version that has a bonus episode.
I
did not hear that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Like, why would you play that?
Weird though.
Yeah, why wouldn't you get that version of it?
Like, why would anyone not? I don't know. You think there's someone out there who owns like 3 episodes of a like 5-season or 5-episode game? Like someone's only owns like the first 3 episodes of Walking Dead season 2, and they never decided to buy the rest of it.
They got through the first 3 episodes of Hitman, and they're like, "Yep, it's peaked. It's peaked."
Yeah, this is peaked. This is all we need. I mean, that means they cut up before Colorado, so I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
They had the Shadow of War gameplay, and even though that was I think it was pretty clearly a story scripted sequence. That guy was Braz, I forget what his name is. Braz, something like that. Bruce? Maybe it was Bruce. I don't know.
I thought it was Bruce.
He was that was pretty great. He seemed really entertaining. We jokingly said that he is going to be the new character of the year for 2017. I think
you say legitimate. Jokingly. I don't know that I believe that that's a joke.
If that is an actual character and not just one of the randomly generated people, but I got the feeling that was like a story character that you were specifically told to go and turn. That game looks like insane, Shadow of War. Like I've watched a bunch of stuff on it. Like they have all this stuff, a bunch of different like enemy types, different tribes of orcs. But then they have these like giant compounds that you have to assault with your own army, and like the setup and preparation for these giant assaults is insane. It's like you have these other orc generals that you have to fight against. You have to bring your own orc generals with you to fight against them. Then you can like purchase upgrades for your army based on what like does one of those orc generals not like fire? Then we're gonna add fire to our catapults, or like it looks so deep and complicated and crazy. Like I think of the first Shadow of Mordor game as pretty straightforward and not super complicated, and it seems like I'm excited about it because I think it looks awesome. And I put this online, but it's probably the thing I'm most excited for after Destiny 2. It just looks so good.
That's one of those games where I gotta go back and play the first one. I for some reason I just totally skipped out on it.
Yeah, and I can hear that. Like the first one is it's a derivative game. Like it's Batman combat, Assassin's Creed style stealthing and stuff like that. But it's got something really cool with it, with like the Nemesis system and all that stuff. Let's see here. And then the 2018 Game of the Year, Ori and the Will of the Wisps was announced.
Best looking game of the year.
I'm calling as I'm calling it, some bullshit about an Ori sequel. Whatever, there's not a Bloodborne sequel on here, so maybe you'll be able to get that one.
Yeah, they didn't really say anything about it. They just said it's in there. It looks gorgeous as usual. They pulled it to your heartstrings. Like they made it pretty clear that whatever, like all the stuff that you did in the first Ori game messed up the forest, and like you killed the big bird, and now the baby bird's really sad because you killed its dad. And it looks real good. Looks really good. Best looking game of 2018. Clearly, clearly the best. Yeah. So I mean,
that's about it for Microsoft, right?
That's about it for Microsoft. I mean, I think Microsoft had some really. They showed off a lot of games. They came out and they said something like, "We're going to show 40 whatever games, and 20 of these are exclusive." Like, and I feel like they got through a lot of that with like their like sizzle reel for the ID and Xbox games, and like a bunch of games that they just showed trailers for. So, I mean, but I think there was some good stuff. Like, we did get to see that Crackdown 3 is a real thing. If Crackdown 3 didn't show up this year, it probably meant it was never going to actually exist. Like the Battlegrounds thing was a pretty big announcement. The Metro was a pretty big announcement. So there's definitely some good surprises that we can see.
There's also there's a bunch of that's not exclusive. Like Metro is not exclusive.
No, totally.
Like, you know,
I think
I don't think they made a good case for like why you need to get one of these Xbox One X's. I think they did a really bad job of justifying that because the ones they showed off are like Assassin's Creed, Forza.
Yeah. They really I feel like they should have really pounded in the idea of, because they mentioned it very briefly about how if you don't have a 4K TV, this is still for you, and talked about super sampling and stuff like that. I think they could have spent some more time talking about that, because that's what's really going to get, like, 4K is very much a niche luxury thing for a lot of people. Like, it's getting there, like it's getting more and more, but the difference
it's more
between
affordable, but now, you know, it's still not.
But like the difference
affordable.
between HD and 4K is not as huge of a difference as it was for, you know, standard def and HD.
Yeah.
So like if you can pound in the like better performance and stuff like that in 1080p gaming, like just hey, everything's 60 frames per second. Like it's not a big bullet point. Like, that people are going to get super excited about that, but like that would be a huge, awesome deal just to have stuff at 60 frames per second. Like that's important, and that's good. Like, a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about Bethesda, but like I was kind of watching the Wolfenstein trailer, and like it was very clearly in 60 frames per second, and it looked gorgeous. Like, just the animation and the smoothness of it. There's a big difference between 30 frames and 60 frames, especially when you get like first-person shooters and stuff like that. So I think both them and Sony could do some work to just kind of punch in the improvements for people that don't have 4K TVs. Like, give me a reason to want an Xbox One X if I don't have it, because I don't have 4K TV, and I'm not gonna buy one anytime soon.
Yeah.
So speaking of Bethesda.
Yeah, so Bethesda,
you guys want me to do
some type of
poll for Microsoft? Since we did do a lot of polls on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
go for it.
Yeah, give us so we did a poll for whether you were going to buy an Xbox One X or not, right?
Yeah, that was the one for Microsoft. So basically, 64% of people said no, and only 36 said yes. So that goes back to your point about them trying to give people a reason to actually buy the system. It seems like the majority agree with you and think that they didn't do a good enough job. So
yeah. Can I honestly say that's actually higher than I thought it would be. Like, I thought the no would be lower than that, or that the no would be higher. Like, I thought more people would not want to buy the Xbox than that. Just from kind of like the general reaction, like the fact that there was 36% or whatever it is. Like, that seems pretty high actually.
Yeah.
But hey. Bethesda, they started off with the VR stuff. There's some type of Doom virtual reality experience.
Yep.
Clearly not the full game. On the other hand, Fallout 4 seems like it is the full game in VR, which is what they've kind of said that's what it was going to be.
So you can be disappointed in virtual reality.
Yeah, and if that's not enough for you,
it's not that good.
And if you
so are we all in agreement now?
It was very much like, oh yeah, this exists. Like it took like a lot of modding in order for me to get the enjoyment out of that game that I wanted to. I went back to it. I was like, oh, all these mods got uninstalled. Oh, fuck this.
I tried to like that game, but it didn't work out for me.
When I talk about VR, like, that's one of the games that I feel like I would want to see in VR. Like, I mean, the whole like the disappointment of the game, whatever. Like, just that like giant open world, like getting the scale of the stuff you're around. I mean, they not at Bethesda, but they announced the Skyrim PlayStation VR version as well.
Yeah.
Like,
no Jesus.
Yep.
That's cool stuff. Like that those are the type of things that I think could be really cool in VR. There's still the whole thing about you moving while your body is not, that makes people sick, and
that's
I don't know
totally
how they're overcoming. I don't know how they're going to overcome that, but
there are some ways that you can do it by creating like a virtual set of dots on the screen that basically act as floors. That kind of prevents some of it. The thing is, I don't trust, with Bethesda's history of making fucking janky ass games, I don't trust them to make a VR game that makes me feel like I'm not going to vomit. I don't. I have no confidence especially considering how messy Fallout 4 was at launch in a lot of different ways. Like, I just don't trust them to do that. I want to, but I just don't. Like Doom 4 seems like it's the smarter bet because it's an experience and it's a shooting gallery. They kind of just showed it for the Vive, but it is coming to the PSVR. But Fallout 4 is not, which is really weird. Like, that's the Vive exclusive, whereas like Skyrim.
But Skyrim is? It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that has to do.
It would have been.
I wonder if that has to do with like Sony's rules. Like they have their whole like, hey, everything has to run at a minimum of this frame rate, and you have to drop the resolution down in order to get it. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, and it was weird to get the announcement of Skyrim at the Sony. I mean, I get it probably would have been weird to have Doom, Fallout, Skyrim all in VR, but I thought that was a little weird that they didn't announce it at the Bethesda conference and let Sony take that one.
Get another version of Skyrim to play.
I was saying, I guess it makes sense if Fallout 4 is not coming to PlayStation VR. That makes sense then why they wouldn't talk about that in the same, because everyone would just assume they're coming to everything. Right. So hey guys, remember when they were selling mods? They're bringing it back.
That was a terrible idea. What? What?
Let's do it again.
Remember how you loved that idea? Yeah. It's not right. It's not real money. You're buying it with credits that you buy with money. So it's one step removed. It's fine.
The thing that sucks about it is like there probably should be a way for modders to get paid easier. There should be a better way, and that requires a lot of curation. And they better be curating.
Like what this actually is, though.
Right. Like if they can curate it and they can put that stuff, but also one of the first things is like crab armor. No, I'm not fucking paying for crab armor. What are you, high? How stupid are you? Horse armor was a joke before.
That depends on how expensive crab armor is.
It's like $3 or $4.
You know it's not. Get out of here with that garbage.
There was a price on it.
There was a price, but it was in like 300 virtual credit things. Like, we don't know what that conversion rate is. Yeah, no, like I agree with you. So that's the thing, is it looks like this is an in-game store. That makes sense that if they are going to put that work into curating that stuff, making sure it works. This is also a way for it to work on consoles, which is cool. Yeah. But it also doesn't mean that if you have it on PC and you go into the Steam Workshop and all, like, doesn't mean that's going away. I'm sure you'll still be able to do that perfectly, no problem. They also did kind of say some bullshit about how we're going to test it and make sure it's compatible with all your saves and stuff like that, which do we really trust Bethesda to do that? I mean,
Bethesda has a long history of making sure that your saves run right, Kyle. I'm offended. I'm offended that you would suggest that a Bethesda save file would somehow become corrupted 50 fucking hours.
Somehow disappear.
Yeah. So we got so that's, well, we'll have to see. That's supposed to be coming out this summer is when those are hitting. So
well, hey, if you want more Skyrim, boy howdy, got it on that we got that on that Switch. Now it's got Amiibo support.
Yeah, it does. Now you can be Link in Skyrim.
Yeah, because I couldn't do that before. There was no way to do that before in any version of Skyrim.
Nope. No way.
How many more? How many more re-releases do you think we get of Skyrim?
Is there a Vita version yet? Might get a Vita
not
version.
Yet.
That's the only one I don't think
there's not a mobile version of it yet. They'll be the one. They're like, there's one that we haven't gotten yet. Fucking get them.
No, I mean, it's the next generation of consoles. We'll get like a remaster of Skyrim or something like
that. Yeah.
So it's had Amiibo support. It looked like from the little demo, it looked like there was motion aiming. Adam, I know how much you love motion aiming.
It's so good.
I'm
so excited.
Hey, excited. You know what? Portable Skyrim is something that a lot of people can get on board with. So like, hey, props to them. I don't. Skyrim is a game that I like the idea of more than I like the actual thing.
Yeah.
But I definitely appreciate what Skyrim is. We got the Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. That was I figured there would be something Dishonored. The idea of what this game actually is awesome because Outsider is essentially God or a god in that world. So the fact that you are going with Billy, which is the main side character in Dishonored, and was also in some of Dishonored 2, and was also in some of the DLC for Dishonored, and then Daud, which is the big character from the first Dishonored, are gonna go kill the Outsider. Like that's pretty fantastic. This is actually it's a standalone game.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Super weird that's a standalone. Yeah. Which I don't think they did a good job of conveying because I think everybody thought that it was just DLC for Dishonored 2, and they had to.
I mean, I will say that I want to say that first trailer had a box shot of an Xbox and a PlayStation 4 box, and I think that gives a certain insinuation that it is more of a thing than just like a DLC pack.
Yeah,
I didn't explicitly say it. It's going to be $30. So that seems pretty good. That means it is probably, since it's standalone and it's $30, it's probably something substantial. And it's coming out September 15th, which is super soon. Like, that's pretty great. So they did talk about Quake Champions, which one of the characters in it is going to be BJ Blazkowicz, of course, because why not? And that game's out in open beta or whatever now. So if you want to check that, when did they say is BJ already in it or is he coming to it? I didn't even catch that part.
I don't know.
I don't know. We got Evil Within 2. That's a surprise. That's also coming out this year. Yeah. October 13th, that game is coming out.
I feel like that was actually one of the things I was absolutely sure was going to be there.
Really?
Yeah, I was totally like, yeah, that's going to happen. And then there've been so many like leaks. Don't think of that. There've been like so many leaks and shit like that. Also, like same thing with like New Colossus. I was expecting that. Like Evil Within 2.
Evil Within's just not on my radar because I don't like horror games. Because
I wanted to like that. I wanted to like that game a lot more than I did. I just consistently every time I would try to get into it, I'd just be like, "This is not great." But the stuff they showed was kind of all tonal stuff, and it looks interesting. Looks weird. I'm interested in it for sure.
Is the white goo from Westworld? Is that in the first game as well?
I don't remember. It wasn't to the point that I got to.
Okay. Yeah, that is weird that for a game that is coming out in a couple of months that they didn't really show. I have an idea what that game is because I know what the Evil Within 1 is, but like they didn't really show that game. They just kind of had that CG trailer that was definitely effective and was definitely cool. But yeah, not actually a whole lot shown off there. And on the opposite side, we got Wolfenstein 2, which they had a really funny live action World War II Lassie thing. It's just so dumb, so great.
Yeah. A lot of good tone stuff they showed in that, which I think, again, same thing with Evil Within 2. It's like I know what is going to happen. I know the sort of game that's going to be played. So like them, I think playing up the tone of that game helps it. You know, in a lot of ways, like that weird acid trip thing at the end of it, and then like
that is bizarre.
That's. You know what? Hey, cool. Let's do an acid trip and kill some Nazis. That's
Well, a pregnant lady stabs a Nazi to death in the background. Yeah, Wolfenstein. Yeah. So Wolfenstein 2: New Colossus. Again, another game that's coming out in October. That game looks really, really good. Mm-hmm. Like that first game is like one of the most surprising things I've ever played. Especially this generation. Like I never expected that game to be good, let alone really good. Like a lot of the characters they showed, like they're doing that same type of like serious, but still kind of goofy at the same time. BJ's got some bulletproof armored alien looking stuff. I don't really get what's on with that. That looks
weird
cool.
helmet thing, yeah. Lord, whatever the fuck his name was from the British Parliament.
Yes, exactly.
He showed up there. That was cool.
They had that extended Nazi buying a milkshake thing.
We have a literal milkshake Nazi now.
Yes. So kind of showing off that they're going to have those quiet moments like they had in the first game. There was a great scene with some Nazis and some KKK guys just hanging out. That's just, I love what this game is doing.
Man, hey, you want to have some? You want to have some real fun? Go read the comments on that trailer. Just internet's that site's free.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wolfenstein, so much for the tolerant left. So good. It's so good.
Yeah. So anyways, that game looks fantastic. Like I said, the trailer that was running super smooth. It's probably PC stuff they're showing off, but it looked really smooth. It looked really crisp. There's cool weapons and looks real good. Looks real good. So Bethesda had some really solid stuff to show. It's kind of like you were saying, Adam. They just showed trailers. You could have just watched the trailers. They didn't really talk about any of those games in any respect. Nor did they really have anything interesting to say.
They also said after the fact that they take it with a grain of salt, but they said they are not working on Elder Scrolls 6 at this point. That their main focus is Elder Scrolls Online. So,
I mean, I've heard good things about that Morrowind expansion.
I mean, they had that whole whole section really in that. They had a whole section in that, which was this ad for it, and it's okay, I guess.
So that was Bethesda. Gus, I want to say we had a poll for Bethesda as well about what was the most hyped game or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And let's see, 63% said Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah,
and we had and then we had Evil Within 2 with 17. We had Random, just like another game, 13%, and then Dishonored only got 8%. Which I thought I was pretty surprised that they only got 8%. Yeah, but I guess Dishonored 2 didn't do that great. So
yeah, Dishonored 2 I think is one of those overlooked games, unfortunately. It was one of my favorite games from last year, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Oh well.
We're not going to talk about Devolver Digital because that was a giant, crazy. Just go watch it and just experience that 15 minutes.
I'm dead serious.
Batshit insanity.
I'm not saying this sarcastically, Gus. You really need to go watch it. It is so incredible. It is 15 minutes. It's super short. So I got up really early that morning. And I watched the Bethesda one, and it went from the Acid Lizard right into that. And I think that was too much for me. That was a bit rough.
There was a Serious Sam top-down pixel shooter thing.
All of the stuff has been all the stuff that they showed has been announced before. The two games they showed was all stuff they had announced before. But
I knew I hadn't heard of it. I hadn't heard of the Serious Sam thing yet.
Yeah,
I think that's out, or coming out next week or something. So
I think the guys who made Hammerwatch made that game as well. It's all stuff, and they came out even before the fact, and they said we're not showing anything new.
No,
but get ready for a totally new.
Everyone else.
Get ready for a totally new form of monetization, and then you watch and you're like, well, I guess he ain't wrong.
It's twisted and it's weird.
I'll go back and watch
that was so that was Sunday. Monday we had the other two press conferences. What Nintendo did doesn't really count as a press conference because it was 20 minutes long. We had Ubisoft guys, the Mario versus Rabbids Kingdom battle, or Mario and Rabbids. I don't know if it's versus or and whatever. That's a real game, and it's XCOM.
It looks really good too.
It looks really good.
It looks so good.
It looks fantastic. How?
Super surprising.
Why? How though? Oh man, that game looks so good, and it's coming out in August. Like it's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like
quick. Life comes at you fast.
Yeah, I know for sure.
I totally think. So just kind of pivoting off of this, like last year, Ubisoft tried to do the whole like we are really people sort of thing. I actually think they succeeded at it this year, like specifically with that, like by bringing Shiggy out. And then like
that was awesome.
That was like, oh god. And then he's like, oh yeah, I want to also thank the developer, like the producer of the game. And the guy is just there like crying. And I'm like, it was I legitimately felt like they were humans this year, which is weird.
Because they've been rough in the past. I mean, this is the first Ubisoft in a couple of years that wasn't Aisha Tyler. It was just all of the random, like not a host per se, just all the random developers and stuff like that talking about their specific thing.
Yep.
And I think it went fine. Yep, it worked fine. They had a very solid conference. We had The Crew 2, which is coming out in 2018. I never played The Crew, but this one's got planes and shit in it too.
Yeah. They didn't do a great job of explaining how all of that stuff is tied together. Like the crew, like in a weird way, the best part of The Crew was its weird, like fucked up French version of what they think America is like the sweeping cornfields of Michigan, and that's fucking hilarious to me as somebody who lives in Michigan. Yeah, I don't know what exactly they're gonna do with this game. If it's gonna be like, we have all the stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, it looked really pretty, and they're doing a whole lot of stuff there with boats and planes and motorcycles and obviously cars. They showed a quick South Park: The Fractured But Whole trailer. That looked like South Park. That's what I expected that game to look like.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing to sway me either way about that game. I will play it, so it's fine. That game is so hard because it just looks like South Park. Like you can't tell what's cutscene, what's gameplay, what's just all just South Park.
Also, South Park has a card game now for phones. So
is that what I? So that's another thing. So they announced
like a card game.
The phone destroyer is what it's called.
Yeah.
And it was hard to tell like what it actually was. Because I definitely saw cards in there, but like the majority of like the quote unquote screen that they were showing was not taken up by cards, it was taken up by South Park stuff. So like is that just like a digital representation of the cards you're putting down? I don't know. Like that's another thing. Hey, if it's probably gonna be free to play, I'll probably check that out because why not,
Yeah.
They showed off a creepy Elijah Wood game called Transference that I don't know.
We don't know what that is. Don't even know if it's in VR is the weird thing.
Oh, really? I just assumed it was in VR.
I actually don't know if it's in VR because they never were like, here's actual gameplay of it. It was just like I kind of was like, is this Black Mirror? Like, is that what they're going? Like, is this a clip from Black Mirror that they threw on here? Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely effective, but yeah, I have no idea what that actually is. That seemed cool. And it was weird because they were kind of talking in like Elijah Wood was talking about working with Ubisoft, but then it was about unlocking the ability to put people's minds in computers or something. And I'm like, wait a second, that's not a real thing that people can do. So it's just weird.
Hey, man, that doesn't check out at all.
Tron.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second. And then right after that, they showed off a new IP with Skull and Bones, which is basically the Black Flag multiplayer game that you didn't know you wanted. And it looks real good.
Looks cool. It's going to be the same thing that For Honor had.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's super going to die fast, but it's going to be a really good game. But it's super going to die fast.
Yeah.
There, all I could hear was For Honor because they were talking about how like there's going to be seasons, and at the end of a season, the group with the most loot will get. And I'm like, yep, that's For Honor. For Honor has all that stuff, and everyone forgot that For Honor existed.
Yeah.
It was a little weird because they had this whole thing where you boarded the other ship, and that was just a cutscene. So it is just 100% ship stuff, not like anything else. Like I was saying, oh, maybe this is gonna be like they'll just toss some Assassin's Creed like melee or combat in here, and nope, it's just cutscene. Now you got the ship and you go about your business. It looks, I mean, look, it's beautiful. It looks cool. That stuff in Black Flag was definitely really cool, but when they're talking about like 5v5 PvP matches to shoot other boats and get loot and stuff like that, I don't know if that's the game for me.
Right.
That's looks cool. That's a far away game. That's a fall 2018 game. So that's a ways away.
Yeah.
There was a Just Dance demonstration where they talked nothing about the game, but had someone out there in a
some girl singing.
I'll say they had a girl there singing. They had guys that looked like Sub-Zero and Scorpion mixed with Daft Punk.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I saw the panda. I saw the panda do a dab.
The panda costume.
Yeah, I saw the panda do a
costume,
dab.
Though wasn't a good panda costume. It's like a panda costume that's been worn for like years. Like that was like old and grody. Like what?
Yeah.
Remember the part where we said this was LSD3? This is another part of those moments. Like what in the world?
And then, hey, going on to the trippy stuff, Ubisoft announced a fucking Toys for Life game that seems like the worst one of them.
Hey, no. I've always said with Toys to Life that I don't like having the little border to put my pieces. I want it right there in front of me, like in hand reach at all times. So if I could just snap it to my controller.
Right on your controller.
Right on your controller.
Blocks you from doing anything. Let's go.
No. Perfect. I love it. Yeah, that looks like something I would have absolutely zero interest whatsoever.
Looks like hot garbage, man. Oh, it looks messy.
And it doesn't even. I get it. Like that stuff's popular, but I mean Disney folded for a reason. This doesn't even have a license attached to it. It's just a thing.
Everybody's getting out of the Toys for Life thing except for Nintendo, who they're fucking doubling down on it in a weird way. Yeah. But like Ubisoft, they're not gonna capture the market by making, hey, let's make these things bigger and bulkier. Like,
I mean, Skylanders is still going. Lego, for some reason, is still trying theirs. It was definitely popular. This seems like 3 years too late for something like this.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Far Cry 5.
They showed actual Far Cry 5 stuff.
Yep.
They made it. They right off the bat they answered the like roads are closed. There's no police. You don't have cell phone signal. It's like, all right, that makes sense. Now I get it.
Yeah.
That's why there's no cops anywhere. Cool. Got it. We're good.
It also sounds like that trailer was not the thing they were selling when they showed it off before E3. It sounds like they were really being like, yeah, like this shit could just happen before E3.
I even watched.
And it seems
today
like
I watched like a separate interview with that guy. I forget his name, the creative director, and he was talking about like how serious they were approaching it, and all this stuff about how they talked to like cult experts and stuff like that. And then then the trailer's just like, go shoot stuff, blow stuff up. This is great. It's so much fun. Like,
go shoot nondescript people who we're not gonna say where they're from because there were some people who were really being assholes. Yeah, it was weird tonally. I still think that game could be super interesting, and I want to see what they do with it for sure.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. I mean, they have this whole thing where you like in Far Cry Primal, you have a dog with you, and there are multiple dogs that you can have. There is a AI character that you can have. Kind of reminded me of Quiet from Phantom Pain. It's just like, hey, go up there and just shoot people for me, and I'll just tell you who to shoot, and just shoot them. Or it's got full campaign co-op if you want to go that way as well.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah. Nothing else happened at Ubisoft though, right? Like
that was the end.
That was it, right?
Thing.
So okay.
We want to talk about no. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a giant trash heap. Like, oh my god, it looks so bad compared to what I thought Beyond Good and Evil 2 would actually be.
So I don't know what the fuck happened who hurt Beyond Good and I mean Ubisoft, but who else hurt Beyond Good and Evil? Obviously it was a tone trailer, but there was a whole lot more swear
of Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, it's totally different. Like, sure. At the beginning of the trailer, I was like, wait, is this Beyond Good and Evil? And then I was like, no, this can't be. Wait, is this? I just couldn't until the logo came up. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like they start with it, and it's like there's a pig man, and I'm like, look, you guys better not be fucking with me because that's gonna be. But then like the monkey guy started swearing, and I'm like, that's not Beyond Good and Evil. Like what?
Yep.
No,
yeah.
What? And then it's like, no, yeah, it's totally Beyond Good and Evil. And it's like, what? And it's a prequel, I guess, from what they've said.
Yeah.
For the birth of Jade. And then they talk about how it's an online playground to play with your friends. And I'm like, none of that is Beyond Good and Evil. None of those things that you were saying has anything to do with Beyond Good and Evil. Oh my
Like also goodness. That whole thing they left off with Beyond Good and Evil at the end. I guess we're just fucking ignoring that.
That's Beyond Good and Evil. That's Beyond Good and Evil 3. We'll get that in 20 years from now.
Yeah. My grandchildren will enjoy that game quite a bit.
We'll just have to tell them to skip over that weird middle chapter. Like, I don't know what that was about. Don't worry about that.
On one hand, like I feel like we have to see the game before I even know what to think about it. It's a super weird tonal thing, but also like awesome. You guys are actually doing something with this, but also you guys are straight up liars because they said it wasn't going to be there. You guys straight up lied to everybody. Don't care that you did it for a surprise. You lied to everybody.
I know. I could care less about that. That's fine.
Yeah,
but it's just like I didn't play Beyond Good and Evil originally. I played it on Xbox 360, the like HD remake or whatever, and it's a great game. And this is not like I was like, do I need to go back and play Beyond Good and Evil? Because apparently I forgot a lot of Beyond Good and Evil tonally and man.
Yeah, the tone is super weird, but I mean, I know I'm still going to play it if it comes out during my lifetime, but even that is still a question.
I forgot.
It doesn't mean that this is a bad game though either. This could be a really cool game. It's just not what we thought we wanted from Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah. Michelle Ancel being there and like it's such a weird thing. You know, there's one thing we didn't talk about when we talked about the Xbox, right? The big announcement. They're bringing back the Duke. Duke controller's coming back. No.
I did not see that. What?
Yeah, they're re-releasing the Duke for the Xbox One.
I mean, why?
Yeah.
I mean, I get nostalgia, but that was a horrible controller.
I get nostalgia, but I don't get that shitty nostalgia. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, there's some people that have like really large hands, but the angle of the buttons and how close the proximity they were, it just didn't. I mean, it didn't work for me. So I don't know. Just super weird.
I had not seen that. That's real dumb.
Microsoft and Hori are working together to bring it back.
I mean,
video games are stupid. Video games are stupid. Anyways, Ubisoft. Okay, guess what? We had us a poll. Gus, take it away.
All right. So our Ubisoft poll was, what was your favorite surprise from this conference? Because this one actually I thought had some decent ones. So of course, number one was the fact that Beyond Good and Evil 2 exists. That won with 57%. And second was the Skull and Bones announcement that got 19%. 15% said the fact that Mario Rabbids actually looks like a good game. That was a good surprise. And 10% said the minimal amount of awkwardness. Because, usually Ubisoft is chock full of awkwardness, and they took that down this year.
Ubisoft got some awkwardness for sure.
Yeah.
Ubisoft had a good show, for sure. They did actually have like gameplay walkthroughs and stuff like that, which we hadn't gotten from most of the other stuff. That Beyond Good, that Beyond Good and Evil, I can't give them a pass on that. Like, that's just so weird and tonally wrong. Ugh. All right. All right. So let's move on to Sony. Sony had a really weird non-talky show. Like I think they had a person talking 2 or 3 times.
They also had a pre-show where they announced stuff.
Yeah. So I caught a little bit of the pre-show. Undertale is coming to the PlayStation 4 and Vita, and they're making an actual physical versions, collector's editions, stuff like that.
Yeah.
One comes with like an art book. I think that seems cool.
Fangamer has like their whole like I think it's like a clock, a little watch. Or no, it's like a music box. The heart thing. So that's cool. It's really weird. That was the one time they talked about the Vita at Sony.
Yeah,
thing.
That was surprising.
They also announced Gran Turismo Sport.
Yeah, it's coming out this fall.
Yeah, this fall.
Oh, yeah.
There's that PlayLink stuff, which seems like they just took the Jackbox technology of like being able to play on your phones.
Oh, that looked bad. Oh,
it didn't look good. It didn't look good. You leave that to the Jackbox guys because they know how to make the games. And then they also announced Super Hot VR. It's going to PlayStation
Hot VR.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah. They put a I didn't know if it was out there already. They put a date on Ni no Kuni 2, which is November 10th.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. Missed that.
And then so they had some good stuff. Like even in the Undertale announcement, like the Vita part of it was like an afterthought. It was like it's coming to PlayStation 4. We're gonna have physical editions. We're gonna have these collector's editions. Also Vita.
I mean that's how they've done any of their Vita stuff over the past couple of years, where they're like, hey, we got this thing, and also it's coming to the Vita, and that's just how they've handled it. I mean, I don't. Whatever. It's cool because it's cross-buy. So if you get the digital version of the PS4, you've just got it on the Vita. I need
to find my Vita. I don't know where my Vita is.
I'm really surprised that they didn't announce like a 3DS version of Undertale. I was totally expecting that after this announcement. I was like, that seems to be the place that Tony Fox wanted to bring it. So
that could be coming because in the Nintendo Spotlight they didn't say anything about the existence of the 3DS. So it could still be coming.
I mean, but they did immediately afterwards. Is the thing?
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just saying that still could be out there. So we got then we got the show proper. They had a thing from Uncharted Lost Legacy. Kind of showing off, again, not real gameplay or anything like that, kind of just showing off some character stuff with Chloe and Nadine. That's coming out real soon. That's like August or something, isn't it? I thought that was coming real soon.
It's soon. It's this year. It's this year for sure.
It's apparently one I forgot to write down, apparently.
I couldn't hear anything during that part, so...
Yeah, the stream that I watched also had issues with that, and that went all the way through part of the Days Gone demo even.
Yeah.
In between there though, they announced some type of DLC thing for Horizon Zero Dawn called the Frozen Wilds. So I haven't beaten Horizon Zero Dawn yet, but that game seems real good, and I'm really liking what I played so far. So an expansion seems cool.
Yeah, like you can get that thing for $15 right now. Also, they put it on sale.
Really?
Yes, they put it up with all their other E3 stuff, and they have like a PlayStation Plus discount, and it's $15. I was like, okay, I'm sure I will play more Horizon by then. So
okay, yeah, that's fair.
Days Gone.
Then they had a pretty long Days Gone demo. It looks kind of similar to what they've showed before. They showed a little bit more stuff. That you're actually driving around a motorcycle and maybe a semblance of some type of open world. Wasn't exactly clear.
Yeah.
They were showing some super like Last of Us type stuff. Setting a trap for an enemy and then taking him out. There was a bunch of zombies, and you blew a hole in the fence, and the zombies came and killed everyone, which seems like a super messed up thing to do to people. But hey,
I thought that was pretty cool. Actually,
it's cool. That. No, it's cool. But I'm like, that's a dick move. Like those people are probably not all terrible. Like, just because they, like, kidnapped your buddy or whatever, like...
Take them out.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, my problem with that game was that I look at it and I'm just like, you've got good horde physics. And that's kind of it.
I mean, they're doing that, like, World War Z, like, horde physics thing.
Yeah, but, like, that's the only thing that I'm, like, looking at, like, this could be interesting. I don't know. I think at this point I'm zombied out, which is like
zombie burnout across the board. Yeah, and plus they've been showing 2E3s already, or it feels like 2E3s that they've shown it off already.
No, it was announced last year, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was announced.
Yeah, and I think there's something said about like the tonally like the motorcycle gang and the post-apocalyptic, like that just seems weird. Like it just doesn't. Like, you think, like, when you get to the post-apocalypse, like, you would stop caring about your hog and, like, fighting the man. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. They showed off Monster Hunter World.
They did.
I've never played a Monster Hunter game because of kind of the play it on your 3DS. Like, a proper, like, HD, beautiful Monster Hunter seems like something I could get into. That game looked really good. Mm-hmm. Like, man, that looked really good.
I've been playing. I've been playing every so often. I've been playing a bit of like God Eater, which is like the sort of also ran of Monster Hunter, and I really want another one of those sorts of games, but I want it to look like that, and it looked really fucking good.
Yeah, it looks really good, and it's coming on PS4, which means that like all the stuff that's complicated to do with those other Monster Hunters, like co-op and stuff like that, will be really easy because it's just on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
They have a gorgeous remaster of Shadow of the Colossus coming out next year.
That looked badass.
It looked stunning, like how that looked.
Bluepoint does really good remasters of stuff. The stuff they work on, they don't work on their own stuff. They did like the HD remake. The first one I remember of them doing was like the HD remakes of Metal Gear 2 and 3. Those are fucking great versions of that game. So I don't think they're.
That looks good.
It doesn't sound like they're adding any of the cut content, which is a disappointment. But because there's so much content from that game that got cut in the final release, but it looks really good. I really want to play that game again.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I would play. I haven't finished that. I've only played about half of Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh man, yeah. You definitely need to play that game. Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, I could go hook up my PS3 right now. I own the last HD they did for it. They showed off the story mode of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, as we mentioned earlier. The graphics look pretty bad.
Looks like crap.
Yeah,
especially when you compare it to like the story mode that's in Tekken, the story mode that's in Injustice.
Injustice,
oof, man, that's not looking great.
I think they're going to have a super tough time selling this game, especially after SF5 and the shit that went down with that. Also, I guess from what I heard, it sounds like the rumors of when DLC is going to be available for that game are super bad. Like they're planning seasons of it. And it sounds like they're not going to get to like the X-Men until like season 3 of their DLC schedule. So it's super ugly. I get this feeling just from watching some of the people that I follow in the FGC. I think they're going to have a hell of a hard time selling this game to anybody, because even like I kind of have always had like a stand back and like, I really like what those games are, but I'm terrible at them. But even this one, I'm like, this looks
entertaining games to watch. I mean, they're entertaining to watch. Like, cool. But yeah, this was not a good showing for it, especially with the fighting games we've got recently. They showed off a extended World War II trailer, not the usual like we're gonna fast forward in the
Call of Duty
for the sake of time.
Call of Duty World War II, not just World War II. They didn't. They're not like, hey, we're teasing it. We're teasing World War II. It's gonna happen again.
We're bringing it back, you guys. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a little weird. Again, like it was just a trailer, not a gameplay walkthrough like we usually get with a Call of Duty. And it looks gorgeous, like really impressive visually. Other than that, it just looked like Call of Duty. I mean, they got the ping. They got the ping when you reload. That's all you need from a World War II game. As long as they got that ding, that's all. We're good.
I still feel like that game, there's so many questions about what it is. Like, we haven't seen enough of it to know, like, hey, this is how they're handling the multiplayer, and this is how they're handling their story stuff. Like, it sounds like they said, like, you might have some amount of switching between characters with it, but they haven't said anything about it.
I mean, it was the implication of that. The trailer was it's popped up like Normandy first, and then it popped up somewhere in Russia. So like, if they were talking about different locations all across Europe, the implication would be multiple characters, I would assume.
Right.
Yeah, no, the multiplayer is the big question mark for that, because it's a big difference to go from infinite warfare with all these super, futuristic weapons and abilities and stuff like that to the basics of World War II. And that'll be interesting to see what that actually looks like. So after that, they had an entire block of virtual reality stuff.
VR chunk.
That I just said Skyrim. There was a side scroller in there called Star Child.
Yeah, Star Child.
Why is Why?
I get the feeling that it's going to be, it seems like it's going to be a VR optional thing where you can just kind of like look at it, sort of like Nog was earlier this year, where you could get a different experience from it by playing in VR. It just seems like that's a weird thing to put up during your VR section. Then they showed The Inpatient, which is the Until Dawn prequel. Super excited because Supermassive Games knows how to do good VR games. They did really good with Rush of Blood. And then the reveal, we finally get to know what the Final Fantasy 15 VR experience is.
And it's not creepy women's boobs simulator. Like
it's somehow oddly like worse, but also better. It's fucking fishing. Like what? Yeah. Why?
I mean, he was catching a pretty huge, scary fish during one part of that thing. So that looks
much.
No,
fish.
that seems terrible.
Much fish.
I don't want to do fishing in any game ever, let alone an entire game devoted to fishing. Then they have Bravo Team, which is also by Supermassive Games.
Multiplayer games are a bad idea. Multiplayer games are a bad idea in VR. I think I said it last time, but they are a really bad idea in VR. Yeah, and then they ended it with Moss, which looks like it could be cool. Looks like it has like a kind of charm to it. A little tiny mouse guy.
The only note I made from Moss is I just put they spelled mouse wrong. That's what I put. They messed it up. They got maybe it's a French spelling. I mean,
I'll give Sony credit for at least trying to showcase the PSVR and not totally forgetting about it.
Totally.
Well, they need to, because everything that we knew about for the most part for VR is out already.
Yep.
Like, like Farpoint was like the last one, and that came out like 2 weeks ago or something, 3 weeks ago.
Yep. They had to do something with it, so good on them for doing something that's better than they normally do.
Which is
doing nothing.
Which is completely abandoning and forgetting that it exists, like the PlayStation Move, like the PlayStation Vita.
Yep. And then their big final push, was these 4.
Yeah, I'll say so. They showed off God of War, which did get. I feel like there was some people thinking that this could be a 2017 game. It is a 2018 game. They confirmed that here.
Yep.
It looks really good. Like it's God of War mixed with some Last of Us. And that seems cool.
They were showing like combos with the kid. That's cool. That's pretty good. I'm digging that game. That especially because I didn't know what to expect with it. You know, when they first showed the trailer of it, it was like this weird, super serious thing. It's like no, like it's just him. He's fucking up gods. What do you expect?
Yeah, and I love the idea of like, all right, you're in a different land now. and they're like, yeah, the Norse gods aren't going to like you being here. They don't like outsiders. And Kratos just like, now I'll kill all of them too. I killed all the Greek gods. Why can't I kill? I can kill the Norse gods. It's fine.
Give me 5. I got this.
So I will say that the perspective, like how close the camera was to Kratos, it's a different shift than what I feel like you usually get in these God of War games. Like usually it's a little bit farther up. You get to see a little bit more of like the battlefield. This was like an over the shoulder, like almost third person shooter perspective from almost everything that they showed, which is interesting. And it's that game looks really good.
I wonder,
I'm super interested in that game.
I wonder how they redesign like their encounters for that stuff. It looks great. It looked really good.
Yep.
I mean, I would imagine you probably talk less fodder enemies and just more like individual stronger enemies. Probably a good way to handle that if you want to do that. Because I mean, a lot of God of War combat is just they're just going to throw a bunch of people that you can kill in like 2 hits and just deal with it. And then so if you kind of scale that down a little bit and kind of go more personal, that you can deal with being that close. That looks good. They showed Detroit Become Human, the Quantic Dreams game. It looks like it looks. This looked a little bit more of a game than the last time they showed it off.
Yeah. I feel like we said that.
I don't know if that's actually true. But
I feel like we say that about every one of their games, which is weird.
That is true.
It looks.
I mean, to be fair, Beyond Two Souls was more of an actual game than Heavy Rain was. It wasn't good. It wasn't. Oh
God, I forgot Beyond Two Souls existed. Jesus,
it wasn't good, but there was parts of Beyond Two Souls where you were like going back and forth between cover and stuff like that. And none of those sequences were super great or super memorable, but this looked like it's got a little bit more like maybe actually walking around in bigger environments. But even when it got down to stuff, even though all the prompts were gone, I gotta imagine it's all QTEs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Yeah.
But the last one that they showed, which was the standoff between the cop, which makes a brief appearance in this trailer. Was like just straight up Quantic Dream, just like pick these choices, try to talk this guy out of the situation. Like this was a little bit more open, more interesting of a thing.
The themes they're exploring are really potentially very interesting. I don't trust David Cage to be able to handle ideas. Well,
I have a soft spot for Quantic Dream, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be picking this up.
Oh yeah,
I'll check it out. But I also like am expecting like a 4th grader's level understanding of the ideas. It's like baby's first Isaac Asimov book. You know, like that's all I'm expecting here.
Okay, sure.
For some reason, in the middle, one of those robots is going to get naked. I will fucking put money down on it.
Are you going to have sex with a dead robot?
There will definitely be. Why would it be? Oh, right. Because right.
No, that's why.
I had forgotten about that. Thanks, Gus.
No problem.
Then you had a blink and you'll miss it Destiny 2 trailer.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, so disappointed with that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I'll say I am surprised they weren't like also that's the one thing they were really missing out of this one, I feel like, was there was no and it's available right now. I was straight up expecting them to be like they did with Destiny 1, like, hey, the beta's coming in a few weeks, but hey, we got this partnership. Go play the alpha.
Right
it's like, oh nope, that ain't happening.
So I mean, it's pretty similar to what you got with Destiny 1. It sounds like there's a 1-year exclusivity for a strike, some gear, a weapon called the Borealis, and a PvP mount.
Yeah.
The release date's the 26th for consoles, September 26th for consoles, October 24th for PC.
The 29th is real. Okay. Yeah.
No, so it's definitely real. I didn't remember. It was 20-something. And then the early access beta is going to be on the 18th of July for pre-orders. And then it runs through the 23rd. I think it's the 20th to the 23rd for all consoles, whether you pre-order or not. And then there's going to be a PC beta in August. So, they didn't show anything. And it sounds like from what I was seeing online, what they're showing on the E3 floor is just the stuff they showed off at that Bungie event last month, as far as like the inverted spire strike and all that stuff. So
that's surprising. Kind of.
We got hey, we got a month, and then we're gonna know we could be able to get in and play hopefully more than just a quarter of the game, like the original Bungie.
You'd be able to play half the game with this alpha, with this beta.
Kind of worrying, but I guess
maybe they'll have more of that, more to Destiny 2.
Man, a Destiny game with like not much content? What? No.
So then the real showstopper was Insomniac's Spider-Man game, which looked pretty
amazing. Arkham Spider.
They gave really.
I mean, whatever. That system works is the thing about it.
Hey, if you're gonna steal something.
Shadow of War is the same thing. I mean, in reality, those Beenox games, which I really like those Spider-Man Beenox games, they were the exact same combat too. Like they were just Batman combat.
Yeah,
I did like they seemed like there's a lot of creativity they have with his web shooters. Like stuff was constantly getting highlighted in the environment that you could potentially use with your web to attack enemies. Like the little thing where he put a little thing on the wall and it just like grabbed the guy and sucked him in. Like that was cool. They were showing things where he threw a guy off the side of a building and then had to hit a button prompt that looked like to pull him back out so he didn't just die. That seems kind of cool. It was a very like orchestrated vertical slice. Like there was a lot of QTEs. What we didn't see, there's a little bit of slinging around and stuff like that, but like not the idea of like this big giant open world with all these side quests and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what that actually is, but what was there looks really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Spider-Man's not my favorite. He's not one of my favorite like comic book characters, but yeah, it totally looks cool the way they were showing off the combat. So I'm way more hyped for that game than I was when they first showed it off.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about video games, though, aside from Batman, he probably has the best video games of a superhero. Like that one Wolverine game was real good, and there's some classic X-Men games, but like Spider-Man 2,
I can't really think of anything else.
Those are real good games.
Incredible Hulk game was pretty good. Ultimate Destruction.
Yeah. Hey, Spider-Man ran up the side of a building with ease, just like the Incredible Hulk did in that game. Yeah. So
nice.
They're pulling some of that. So that was Sony Conference. The Sony Conference was weird because they showed a lot of really good stuff, and honestly, the stuff that they showed was probably the most interesting to me of all of the conferences. But it was weird that that's all it was. It was just trailers, and I could have just sat and watched all the trailers and gotten the exact same experience, except I would have actually got to hear the dialogue for Uncharted and Horizon, which I did go back and hear that stuff. Yeah. So what was the poll for that, Gus?
Let's see. So I mean, Sony, they didn't really have that many surprises this E3, but they did show off a ton of exclusives. Games that you can only really play on a PlayStation. So the question was basically which exclusive are you looking forward to the most? And Spider-Man was the winner with 33%. And second was Detroit with 29%, and then God of War with 24%, and then Days Gone with 14%.
Huh. So I'm surprised that Detroit is ahead of God of War. That is surprising. But hey, a lot of people hold the Quantic things, and
I think a lot of people really do have fond memories of Heavy Rain. And they like to forget about Beyond.
You should all totally forget about Beyond. Beyond is not great, but I really like, flaws and all, I really like Heavy Rain. Like, it's got one of the most bullshit things that's ever been in a video game with that giant plot hole in the middle of it, but I still really like that game. So then Tuesday morning we had the Nintendo Spotlight, which was a 20-minute kind of just same thing, kind of just a bunch of trailers, a little bit of talking in there. Reggie standing in front of a green screen, doing his thing.
No, he's totally in California.
If you're not battling, you're not having fun. That seems like a Reggie thing to say.
Yep.
Good Lord.
I didn't see any of this, so I'm just listening to you guys.
It was. Video games are about fun and battling. If you're not battling, you're not having fun. And I'm like, that's a little aggressive, but okay, sure.
It all comes to a head here in this green screen room. That's nowhere near California. Yeah, it was odd.
So Rocket League is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it has
Sweet.
Cross-console play with all of the consoles except for one.
Persona. Yep.
Persona.
Yep. It sucks, but hey, you know what? Portable Rocket League sounds awesome.
Yep, that's a good thing. It's got split screen on it. That seems pretty cool. They showed off a little bit more of Xenoblade, or by showed off I mean just showed a trailer for it. Not a ton of gameplay or whatnot in there. That's still coming this holiday. Is it just me, or is it weird to be in June and have stuff that's coming out in 2017 and you can't put even just a month on it? Like you have to say holiday or you have to say fall, or some of them I think still just had coming in 2017, and I'm like, there's not that much of 2017 left here, guys. They teased a 4-player co-op Kirby game that they just called Kirby.
Just calling it Kirby. Looks good.
It's not Epic Yarn or anything like that. It's just regular old Kirby. Yep. Looks real good. There is a Yoshi game similarly that's wool and cardboard.
Yeah, they showed that off on the Treehouse. They showed that off on the Treehouse today. It looks interesting because you can kind of flip the stages so you can see behind the stuff, and then there's like it's cute. They've got like the blocks that kind of like push in and out. Like you flip it around and you see like it's actually like a Shy Guy who's like pulling it on, and he's really stretching and he's sweating. It's cute. Like it looks
they got
fun.
some good stuff going on there. They got some good stuff going on there.
They announced that they were working on a quote unquote core Pokemon game for Switch, which means
yay!
Yeah, let's see what they mean by that.
So they said a core RPG Pokemon, so you have to assume that's
what that means. There is no other interpretation of that. If they come up with some shit to
Pokemon
say,
Snap,
this is Pokemon Dungeon Master, whatever those other ones are called, then I will stab someone.
At some point they have to stop developing for the 3DS. Like at some point like they after the thing were like, yeah, we had the most growth with the 3DS. It's like yeah, but that's also because you put out like a new iteration of the console that works better than your old one. So
I would say if you could look at it as the most growth, going from 0 to like 3 million is a lot of growth. So I don't actually know.
They were talking about like year over year, like from 2015 to 2016 specifically.
I'm just saying. Again, year over year, the Switch went from 0 consoles sold to no. Okay.
Yep.
They also announced Metroid Prime 4 is in development for the Nintendo Switch as well. Didn't say anything else besides having the number 4. And there's also some other Metroid game out there as well. I saw someone
Samus Returns. Metroid Samus Returns. Yeah. It is a 3. So this is where it gets kind of weird. It is a 3DS. So it is a 3DS remake of Metroid 2, which makes that takedown of another Metroid 2 remake make a lot more sense after the fact.
That does make yeah. I didn't hear the details of what that actually was, but that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yep, it is straight up a reimagining of Metroid 2 Samus Returns. Like that's what they're doing. They've added Melee to it. They have new amiibos for it. There is one of the amiibos is a Metroid, and the Metroid like membrane is squishy. So I pre-ordered that shit.
That's badass.
Yeah. So they had Fire Emblem Warriors, which is their Dynasty Warriors Fire Emblem thing.
Ain't Hyrule Warriors, so I don't care.
No, it has all of the Fire Emblem Warriors that you care about, like Marth and Roy and
Corn. Corn's a character, right?
I
think Corn's a character.
That's it. Those are the ones that are in Smash Brothers. That extends my Fire Emblems.
That's all you need to know.
Here's the thing: if a fucking shitty game like Pokken can get re-released for the Switch, they can goddamn do one for Hyrule Warriors too.
I mean, I was speaking of that. I am disappointed that there wasn't any type of thing about Mario Maker. Like I feel like that's a given that they should just do that, but I don't know.
Supposedly, the rumors are that yes, they are, but it's a ways off. This whole thing was so weird because
unless they're going to call it Mario Maker 2, which is great if they want to go ahead and do that. If not, I feel like it should not take that long to make that game.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a lot of this thing was weird because they were like, at one point they're like, yeah, most of the stuff we're showing off is for 2017. And it's like, no, half of the games you're showing here are like 2018 at earliest. So that's
they said that, and then the two things immediately after that were Metroid Prime 4 and Yoshi, which are not coming out in 2017. It's really weird. So they showed
20 from Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, they showed off some stuff for the Breath of the Wild DLC. The first part's coming on the 30th of this month. They got some type of Trials mode called Trial of the Sword that was just Link running around in his underwear for some reason.
It reminds me of Eventide Island, which was the best part of that game. You know.
They have a master mode, which was showing off some interesting different enemies. There was a gold Lionel, which, man, the white ones are tough enough as it is. I can't
kill a Lionel to begin with, so yeah.
You can get a Korok mask that will vibrate when you are near a Korok seed.
Yahaha, motherfuckers! You can get a Tingle outfit.
Yeah. The cool, super lame thing is that there's a Heroes Path thing, which I'd already heard about, but you kind of got to see it in action a little bit here, that shows where you've gone in the entirety of your playthrough. And apparently it's retroactive. But it's bullshit that it's DLC and not something they're just adding to the game.
Yeah.
Like, you should not have to pay for something like that.
Yeah.
Nor should you have to pay for a harder difficulty. And then they did show off what the story content is, which is called the Champions Ballad. It seems to be about the 4 champions plus Zelda that are featured in that game.
It's like a prequel.
So, yes, very much so.
Where else can you go with that thing?
No, you can't. Like, either that or you make the Breath of the Wild equivalent of Majora's Mask, which I would also be okay with. Let's be perfectly honest. Then you had whatever Super Mario Odyssey is.
Oh, it looks so good.
Looks absolutely amazing, but also perhaps the most bizarre thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
It's the weirdest shit. It's so crazy. Like okay, so like, you know, you had the talking hat and they were showing it off in the original trailers. It's like, oh, you can jump.
And he was throwing it.
It's like, oh, okay. Well, that's weird. And then they're like, oh, in this one, you can just fucking possess people. And wait, no, back the fuck up.
He can possess dinosaurs and frogs, and actual people in New Donk. It's like, wait, what? He's just, oh god, it's so weird.
New Donk City.
Great.
Yeah. Also, I do think it's important to mention that New Donk City has got Mayor Pauline, which makes me sort of think that this world is a completed version of the original Donkey Kong City.
That there seems to be implications of that. Yes.
What the actual fuck, Nintendo? Like, so you are lore building off of, you have got a split Mario timeline now.
So, I mean, it seems like they're doing to Mario what they did to Zelda. Like, they're overhauling so much stuff. Like, each zone that you go through has an area-specific currency that you can go into a store and buy different outfits, different types of hats. Like, in the zone that is straight up just Mexico, you can buy a sombrero that just replaces your hat. There is a Safari Mario guy that you can dress up as.
And those are related to quests. Like, you have to have the specific hat for the specific quest.
Yeah, and you have to collect moons to power up your Odyssey spaceship to go to different worlds, and you're possessing things. Like, they showed a lot of taking over a bullet bill so you could fly over like wide expanses and get to the other side. Like,
also he
takes over a tank at some point in New Donk City.
Also, they just do the Link Between Worlds thing where you can just go into a wall and it becomes classic Mario.
And also, but it's still in 3D. Like, you're wrapping around the sides of buildings and stuff like that.
Also, the music goes like fully like pixel, like MIDI style, and then like as you jump out. Also, like if a bullet bill is traveling through like one of those walls and there's no hard break, it will just pop out into the real world as a real bullet bill.
Yep. Yeah.
That game is insane.
There is
how long has it been? So the last 3D Mario game was Galaxy 2, right?
Like it was Galaxy 2, which was a long time ago.
They've been working on it, and it shows. Like, man, this game looks fantastic. Also, important note: Bowser is trying to make Peach get married to him, and his underlings are his bridal planning service.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and they're bunnies? Like, right? Like, oh man. LSD3. I'm telling we need to coin this phrase. Like, that's what this is. This Super Mario Odyssey looks absolutely amazing. Like, I cannot wait to play it. It looks fantastic. It's what you want out of a Mario game. Like, where do they go from something like Galaxy when you're flying between different small planets and going around this sphere, and like this is just so off the wall and just perfect and great. Oh man.
Yeah, I think that's so probably when I'll finally pick up a Switch when Mario comes out and get some sort of bundle, hopefully for the holiday.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So that was Nintendo's very little thing. Kind of like what we were saying. Again, it was a lot of trailers. You kind of have to search out and find there. You have to find some more information about these actual games. Like, there is actually a decent amount of Super Mario Odyssey gameplay out there, like gameplay walkthroughs and stuff like that. We'll kind of show you some extra stuff about how that works.
Yeah, they've done like 3 or 4 presentations at Treehouse of it. It just straight up looks like the game Everything in Mario. Which is great. That's insane. But yeah, that was the big thing that Nintendo showed, but goddamn, it was a big thing to show.
Yeah, it took a much different approach than what I thought. Like, I thought it was just gonna be like, hey, they're adding this hat thing to kind of do a little bit. Like, that hat is the entire game. Like, it's a boomerang, it collects coins for you, it possesses things. Like, it is all that hat. It is it's pretty great.
Nice. Yeah.
So I mean that so far has been E3. Like, obviously E3 is still going on. There are gameplay demos and stuff like that that are constantly going on. You know, you can find interviews and stuff out there on IGN and GameSpot and Giant Bomb, and like Nintendo's still doing their Treehouse stuff and all. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there. You can kind of gotta go in and dig in and find some of that stuff from those games that you really want to see. We put a poll up about the show that you were most impressed with. We did talk about the main press conferences. As we were saying, we left off EA because we think, or at least in our opinion, they had the weakest show. So Gus, how did that one go?
So so for that one, let's see, Sony actually won, which I think was kind of surprising to me, but they won with 33% of the votes. Ubisoft came in second with 28%. Microsoft came in third with 22%, and then Bethesda came in fourth with 17%.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would probably agree with that. Like I said, even though, like, as far as an actual conference, like, yeah, like the lack of like live demos and stuff like that was kind of disappointing. The stuff that was shown at Sony, I think, was my favorite of the shows, personally.
I'm just kind of surprised that not more people, I guess, were on Microsoft's bandwagon. I thought since they had like the new console that maybe they would have gotten more love, but
I think that
really is more about the games.
I think that it speaks to the fact that their big push on the Scorpio thing just didn't capture people, and like there are definitely some people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna get one, and I think they made a case for it. I think they made a decent case that, like, if you don't have one and you're gonna get a 4K TV, you probably should get one of those. But I don't think that they made like a super solid case as to like why you would need to get one of those over like.
And there's also something to be said about the fact that it's the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 Pro has the exact same problem. It's hard to communicate to us how good 4K stuff looks if you don't already have a 4K TV. Right. Like, they streamed out that press conference in 4K. Like, if you had a 4K TV, that press conference was streamed in 4K, and you could watch it in that way. And a lot of the videos that are posted online on YouTube and stuff like that, you can watch in 4K. but it's hard to get what that actually means and what that looks like if you don't already have that technology. And it's asking a lot of someone when you don't make a compelling argument for someone who's just going to look at it in 1080p. Like, where's like the side-by-side of Metro running at 30 frames 1080 versus the super sampled 60 frames of the Xbox One? Like, where's that? Like, that's the type of thing that maybe that's probably not good press conference material, but like that's the type of thing that will sell to some people of like what that actually means for them. But it's just hard. It's hard to communicate that stuff when you don't already. It's kind of like with VR. It's really hard to communicate the experience of something in VR in a press conference. Like, oh yeah, I can kind of imagine what this is, or they can show the people's faces and how much they're enjoying the VR. But you can't get it until you actually see it for yourself.
Yeah. Did they talk about Game of the Show? Did they talk about Knack 2 anywhere? Is that a Game of the Show?
I think it was somewhere. I think it was somewhere in the pre-show for Sony. Okay. Although I did not see it. I did not see it anywhere though.
They just wanted to get everybody in for the big. They're like, we got to pull out the big guns for this pre-show. Get Cerny.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, like would be your quote unquote game of the show? Like, what's the thing that you were most impressed with, most excited about, whatever that looks like?
I think for me it was I think it wound up being Super Mario Odyssey. I'm so psyched to see that game. Like, it's just everything they're doing with it just looks incredible and like oddly risky for what Mario has kind of been lately, like the formulaic stuff. So like that, I really liked Dragon Ball FighterZ. I thought that was super cool. And then Metro, obviously, like, of course, I fucking love Metro. So
yeah, I guess, I don't know. I mean, my most anticipated game, they didn't really even show anything of with Destiny 2. So besides that, I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic about Anthem just because I love BioWare so much. But yeah, I mean, that's a game that it could go either way, and it looked like that build of the game was just specifically built just to show it off at E3. I don't think the real game's going to look anything like that, but I guess we'll see.
I hope so. I would really want it to, but yeah, it's hard to say. I think Adam, I probably personally, I would agree with you. I think Super Mario Odyssey really won me over. Like, I was excited for Mario anyways, but like the creativity that they showed in the stuff for that game looks awesome. Outside of that, it probably would be like God of War and Spider-Man. Both looks really, really good. Like, I really like the God of War games. I always have, kind of the like crazy over the topness. I mean, we talk about like a giant snake showing up in the Assassin's Creed trailer. Like, that was like he's like, the size of a horse, something like that. There was a snake in the God of War trailer that was a Titan, essentially, that apparently wanted to be your friend. So that's cool. Like, I like the idea of Kratos not just killing everything in sight, like maybe actually having some type of villages and, friendly NPCs and stuff like that. And hey, Spider-Man just looks really good.
I think biggest surprise of the show, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Straight up.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's legitimately surprised that I'm so into that game.
I would have assumed that was a RPG. Like, that's what I thought it was going to end up being, was like a Mario, Superstar RPG type of thing. It's very much not that. And the thing I worry about that game is I don't really like the Rabbids. And there's a lot of Rabbids going on in that game. But
like, also, like, I wondered, like, how much are they leaning into that with this?
I don't know. So, like, there was a rabid Donkey Kong character at the end of that trailer. And I mean, like, some of that was funny. Like, the part, like the one who was wearing the Peach dress, who like grabbed Peach's actual dress and was like, like, that was funny. Like, I was like, all right, that's good. It's a good, like, just dumb thing. Like, I think the idea with the Rabbids is you're supposed to hate them, so maybe that is right. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting the right read of that game, but yeah, that's the only concern is just how that actually plays in reality with the Rabbids that are supposedly, like from the demonstrations they were showing, make up a significant portion of your team. It was like Mario and 3 Rabbids is what I was seeing. So
yeah,
we'll have to see.
I don't know. I'm just surprised at how good it looks too, because I was expecting like just like a little party game or something very Ubisoft, but it looks like it looks like it can actually be like really really good. So hopefully it turns out that way. So.
Yeah, like how though? I don't know how they did that. Like how?
Yeah.
Who approved that? There was someone was playing XCOM and was like, you know what would be good in this? Mario.
I know.
Now we don't. No, Eve. We don't own Mario. It was like we own Rabbids though. Maybe we could get Mario. Sorry, I should if I'm gonna pretend to be Eve, I should throw in a French accent, but I'm gonna show a little bit more class than that and just do. All right, so yeah, that was E3 2017. I like obviously we're not done. There's gonna be more stuff shown, and that's probably all the big announcements and stuff like that. But there's gonna be little tidbits that come out here and there. It was a good year. There was some good stuff shown. A lot of really interesting games. I think filled out a fall that was looking a little bare. You know, I mean, hey, look, we always have Destiny, so it doesn't really matter what else comes out.
Yeah.
But they definitely filled in some other gaps with like to the point where it's like now I don't have enough time to play all these games. Where before I was feeling pretty good about playing games. Like I don't know how I'm going to play Mario, Assassins, and the New Order when it's only a month after Destiny comes out. Like that's going to be really rough. It's going to be really rough. Maybe I should just buy the PC version so I don't have to worry about it and just play it later. I don't know.
No,
yeah. Any parting words before we get out of here, you guys?
I just want to say thanks to everybody who participated in our polls. Always good to get some sort of participation, some feedback. So, hopefully y'all keep doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and as always, you can find us. We are on Twitter at pixel_related. Website is pixelrelated.net. You can always send us email. Feedback at pixelrelated.net is our email, I should say. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you guys next time.